Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brothers and sisters, hope all of you are doing well. Apologies for the late start. I was running all over the place. Brother Yahya here. We have an amazing brother coming on for a guest appearance. So I hope you all are doing well. I love you so much, and I will introduce our guest. This is Brother Yahya.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, good to be here. Good to speak to Brother Mikā'īl. We've spoken offline quite a bit, to be fair. And yeah, good-hearted brother. He was on my, well, he wasn't actually on my stream the other day, but he was in the comment section preying, seeing what's going on. He dropped in a nice couple comments, and yeah, it was good to interact like that. So we thought we had to jump on the live stream, get things going for real. And yeah, here we are.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Yeah. So, for a long time, I'll be honest, like I heard, long time, ever since I started the channel, really when I started doing live streams, bringing different guests on, different reverts, everything, what have you, I'd say it was like right around the time that you had reached out to me on Instagram, people started, telling me, oh, bring on, at that time you were going by your other name, bring on Marty, he's a new revert as well. You guys will get along. He's an amazing brother. And
exactly, man.
Then I literally went to my Instagram to go check you out, and pause, but
I meant to check you out.
Yeah, bro.
Check me out then. Check me out. No,
I know, right. Astaghfirullah. But I'm like, yeah, I gotta go see what he's about. And literally that same day or that same moment, you had already messaged me. And I was like, oh, mashallah, what's going on? Wa alaikum assalam, everybody just hopping in here.
Wait, one second. Let me get my...
Yeah. Do what you got to do. Yeah, wa alaikum assalam to everybody just hopping in. Saima, Alif, Malik, Joe. And we have so many others, look,
I'm joking, bro.
Nah, throw that on, bro. You're looking official. Official.
We're good. I wear it sometimes when I pray Salah, but it don't really suit me as a normal aesthetic, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like, I still look at myself with it on, and just because we've been so used to not wearing it, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't, like, not that it doesn't look right, but aesthetic-wise, like you said, it was perfect way to
suits you, bro. Because see, the thing is, when you have long hair like that as well, it suits the aesthetic. With me, it's like I look bald. Like if I throw that on, I look bald.
See, I think the opposite, bro. I think it actually looks better when you have short hair. But yeah, no, it's I hear what you're saying. Like if you have it on, it look like there's nothing underneath.
Yeah, I have a similar sort of issue with wearing like jubbas and thobes and stuff like that. It's something which in some areas of London you see people wearing it, but it's not a normal thing to see just out and about. You're just out walking down the street. I'm sure in Boston it's even less so.
Bro, it's it's very similar to the way that you're describing it, but yeah, it's less like that. Like you really, even Muslims, right? Like in the beginning when I started going to the masjid, brothers were saying to me, you do not have to wear the thobe and the kufi, all the time. And I was like, what do you mean? They said, you don't have to wear this when you pray, or you do not have to wear this outside the masjid. And I was like, yeah, no, I understand that. So they asked me why I wear it. And for me, it was like, I wear it because there are two reasons, really. One of them being the fact that I'm proud to represent, I'm proud of being Muslim. I'm proud to represent my Islamic faith. And the other reason was because early on, I'd say like a month after I reverted, I was on my way to Jummah and I was dressed up in the thobe, everything, right? And I stopped at a gas station to get gas. And there was this, non-Muslim brother. He approached me and he was like, hey, He said, are you from Muslim? And I was like, And I was like, bro, I am Muslim. I said, Islam is a religion and Muslim are the people of the religion. I said, I wouldn't come up to you and say, are you from Christian? He said, oh, okay, I understand now. And I was like, yeah, so whatever. He asked me a bunch of questions. He was very interested. I ended up giving him I had extra copies of the Quran in my car. I gave him a copy of it. And
inshaAllah, bro.
afterwards, like, we continued talking, and he ended up saying, am I allowed to go to the masjid? Can I come? Well, he said mosque. Can I come to the mosque to check it out? I said, bro, I'm headed there right now. I was actually headed to Juma. And I said, if you want to come, you can come. So he ended up coming. A couple days later, he ended up reverting. So,
MashaAllah, bro. Allahumma barak, man.
Yeah, so that was like...
You're going to get rewards for that as well, remember?
Oh, of course.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, it was, like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he definitely, you as well, we have been chosen by him. We are blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we both were chosen for a reason. We have a path that, so that's why I try to live the way that he would want me to. And like with wearing that, the Islamic clothing in public like this, I have to represent it properly. So because I represented it properly, that time, that's happened another time, and actually twice after that. And, that's another reason why I wear it. But in the beginning, I will say, I was wearing it like as soon as I got out of work. First of all, I wore the kufi while I was at work in like the whole first month and a half, 2 months actually. And then like a month, I'd say the first month I was actually wearing the thobe, I was wearing the jalaba everywhere, like outside of work, not at work, but when I wasn't at work, I was in the jalaba or the thobe. And then
wait, bro, I've got a question actually on that specifically, because I know your job, right? I don't know if you've made that obvious. I don't want to drop it without you being okay with that.
No, I did.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, he's a salesman, right? For a soda company. So I'm picturing you in probably a white neighborhood, right? Walking around in a jubba and a kufi, trying to sell solar to these random white people.
No. So, like I said, bro. So at that point in time, I wasn't like I wasn't into the sales. I wasn't back. I should say I wasn't back in the sales community yet. I was still working my other job, which I talked to you about, right? The career that I had pursued from college, my psychology degree.
No, I don't think you.
I didn't even tell you this. Okay. No. Yeah. So, well, you know what? This is what we're gonna do on your stream. So maybe I should save this.
Yeah,
right?
Save it.
And we'll talk about this after. But anyways, as far as the like I said, the jalaba and the kufi go, I really, I didn't wear them when I was at work. So, well, the kufi I did for the first month and a half. And then after the situation happened at that job, I said, okay, and I'll talk to you more about that. My followers know about it, but, a month after I reverted, I said, after talking to Sheikh, he said, and this is, a Sheikh who grew up in Morocco, who, he literally studied the deen. He's a Sheikh, he has his ijazah, he's a hafiz, and
inshaAllah.
He explained to me, he's like, I don't wear it. He's like, unless I am, going to the masjid, that is the only time I wear it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And when I asked him why, he said it's out of respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why when I go to the masjid or I pray, I always wear thobe or jalaba. But this is your live stream, bro.
No, this is your live stream.
Yes, it's mine, but you're the guest, bro. I want to be asking you questions. This is your
Bismillah, bro.
Episode, I should say. But Jazakallahu khairan. Singapore, mashallah, it's 2:38 a.m. here. So you guys are 12 hours ahead or behind us. Because it's 2:38 p.m. where I am. Or behind me. I know Yahya is right? What is it, 7:40 where you are? p.m.?
Yeah, 7:40.
MashaAllah. All right. So, like I said, we're gonna start out slow. Just introduce you. You explain a little bit about yourself. So, first and foremost, hold on. Where was I? First and foremost, where are you from?
I am from. So it's in location, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You can probably. I think everybody watching can probably tell I'm from the UK. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious, no? And then even within that, you can probably guess I'm from London just from my accent, because I drop the T's and I don't, I think the interesting thing about London is that you have two types of Londoners. Well, actually, you have three. So you have the posh Londoners who pronounce everything perfectly, like
Very
that.
proper, very proper.
Yeah, exactly, just
Yes,
like
yeah,
that. And then you have normal commoners, is what we call them, which I would say I'm more like that. We drop our T's, we're a bit more relaxed in how we talk. And then you have the
hood.
Man, there's actually a lot in London because it's such a melting point. So you have a lot, and then you have roadmen who, like, I'm not even gonna bother.
Hold on. You said what? Roadmen?
Roadmen.
What's that? That's like a thug or a gangster?
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before in my life.
Wait, you're from the East Coast, so is that not something that they use?
That's a UK term, bro.
Oh, no,
I have heard this once before, but it was only from like somebody from London, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I think in Toronto, in Canada, they use it because it essentially, that term, a lot of the slang in the UK, in Canada, in these places originates from the Caribbean, like Jamaica.
Yes.
And in the UK and in Canada, we have big populations from the Caribbean. That's why.
Very true.
I guess in America it's not as big, but I mean,
where I grew up, we actually do have a huge, like, actually in Boston, where I grew up in Dorchester, there is, my neighborhood was all mainly Latino and Hispanic. And then if you go like a couple blocks over, you have a lot of Caribbean, like Jamaican, Haitian, Cape Verdean, literally everything. So I want to say I probably have heard it before, but it didn't sound familiar. So when you said it, really the only other time I think I've heard it was from an interview I watched of an old school English mobster. I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's funny.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm from London, from like the suburbs. So the weird thing about London is that you get people from all over the world. So it's like a lot of reverts have never either met a Muslim before, or maybe they knew Muslims but they weren't very close, or maybe they went to a school where there was only one Muslim, something like that. For me, it's like every stage of my life I've been friends with a Muslim. Like, it's not something which is super foreign to me. But the even weirder thing about that is, even though I knew Muslims, I didn't like Islam for the longest time. Like, it literally is the programming from the mainstream media which makes you feel like that. And I mean, you could talk all day about how they're currently programming us to do whatever they want. And I mean, it's not working on me, I believe. It doesn't seem to be working on you. I've seen some of your opinions, so I think we share a lot of the same sentiment. So yeah, it's anyway, grew up in London. Yeah, but my ethnicity, I don't know. I have no idea, honestly.
Really?
I actually don't know. Yeah, I know I'm half Irish, but then the Asian side, I have no idea. So
honestly,
my mom,
one of my best friends growing up, well, probably is my best friend growing up. Like, he's one of the people that, there's I'd say 3, 4, 5, maybe a half dozen that are literally my brothers. Like, they are. I trust them with my life. Like, I'm almost closer to them than I am some of my family. I am closer to them than some of my family. And one of them in particular, this is like my best friend. We grew up since we were like little jit.
Jit, yeah.
But anyways, yeah. That's actually a southern, like a southern
Florida,
American term, Florida, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he is Korean. He's half Korean and half Irish. And you look so like, bro, you almost look like you guys could be twins. Like, dead serious, bro. And I don't know, man. When I that's what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say it. That was gonna be like the next question was, your heritage and culture. But we're on it now, so continue.
Yeah. So my mom, my mom, she grew up in, so she considers herself like a Filipino. She's from the Philippines, right?
Okay.
So that's where she grew up. She grew up in the slums, you would call it, very, very poor.
Mm.
She didn't know who her real mum was. So she's been told that her mum is some Chinese lady, right? So if that's the truth, then that makes me a quarter Chinese. So I can see where the Korean, because I mean, without sounding
Okay.
racist, like Koreans
Yeah,
and
no, I
Chinese
got
are
you.
pretty similar. So
I got you.
yeah, I might get cancelled for that one, but
No, you'll be fine. You're fine. You
and
weren't saying anything bad.
yeah, and then her dad was, so he died when she was young, so he was like half Filipino, half Indian, and there
Okay.
was a bit of potentially Spanish as well. So
Half Filipino, half Indian.
yeah, something
Like,
like that with
are you
some.
talking about like? You're not talking about Native American Indian. You're
No,
talking
no,
about
no, no.
okay.
Bro, outside of America, if you say Indian, it means like South Asian Indian.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I got you. I got you.
yeah, so really just a big mix, really.
Yeah. No. So you know 100% that you're Filipino, or no? You have no idea. It's just that's what your mom thinks.
Yeah, that's what she thinks. I might just go and do one of those 23andMe tests. May
Yeah.
as well.
Honestly, bro, I really wanted to too. Well, somebody had. It was from my past life. It was a female that I was speaking with at that time, and she wanted me to do that, and I was so close to doing it. And then after speaking with from the lifestyle that I was in, one of my OGs, he was like, yeah, in the life that we're in, it's not the best idea.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that, I don't know if you've heard this, but
you can track it, right?
What's that?
Isn't it? I might be completely wrong, so apologies for cutting you off, but isn't it because you're now on the system and they can track the DNA and all of that?
Something along those lines. It's just they also once they have your DNA, or once they take like your blood sample or whatever it is, that always stays, like they keep it on file forever. They don't destroy it once you're done. They keep it in like the backlogs or whatever. And that kind of creeped me out. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm okay with that. But yeah, so, I mean, then I hear some other people, like I have a friend who, straight up, he came from the islands. He came from Haiti. His mother and father are 100% Haitian. He is Wesley Snipes black, like black as midnight, bro. And I'm not gonna say his name, but this once again, this is another one of my like absolute brothers, and he did this right now. When he got his results back, it told him that yes, he was Haitian, but it said he was only 50% Haitian, and it said he was actually Irish and Polish. And there's no way looking at this brother that he was at all.
Bro, you need to go to Africa. If you go to Africa, you'll see 100% black. That's when you'll see 100% black. Anybody outside of Africa is almost certainly not 100% black. So
I mean, yeah, I could see that, but from Haiti, bro, like Haiti is pretty close, and like I said, when I say black, like he was, straight Wesley Snipes, like. But I don't know, man. That's why it also kind of, when I hear some people's results, it comes back and it's like, this kid is, whiter than this page, and he ends up getting a result that he's 75% Jamaican. It's like, nah, bro, I'm not taking that to him. It's crazy, but yeah, man. I mean, if you think like I said, I'm not really living that life anymore, and neither are you. Well, I'm not really. I'm 100% not living that life anymore.
Bro, I've never lived that kind of life. So,
mashallah. See,
my,
that's beautiful.
My kind of past was something very different. So
we'll get into that. We'll get into that because that's coming up. Yeah, I'm excited to hear this, and I've seen some of your videos anyway, but I'm excited for this. So
let's do it. Bismillah.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask was, how was it growing up? Like, how was it growing up in London, and how were you raised? Like, were you raised was your family together, and also were you brought up in Christianity, whatever you were brought up in?
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, the London part is, I think you take it for granted, right? Living in like a big city, you just take it for granted because you're exposed to so much at such a young age. I can recall times when I'll be at house parties drinking at the age of like 13, 14, and then you'd have to, everybody would flee the party because a gang from the next town would come. Oh yeah, we want a party. Then they'll get the shanks out and all of that, and then you'd have to like leave. And it's these kinds of things you don't experience. A lot of places, even in the city, you don't experience that. So for me to experience that, like maybe like 14, 15, these are things which make you ultra aware of like your surroundings, right?
Absolutely.
And for me, that built up a lot of anxiety. I think I was just naturally a very nervous kid anyway. So to go through like certain situations like that, there's another time when I have to be honest, like I took someone's chick, like I took someone's girl at the age of like 15, yeah. And I remember that the boyfriend, I didn't realize who it was. It was some like proper like thug, yeah. And he was the type to, obviously I'm not going to give out any details about any names or anything like that. But I was told plenty of times that he used to carry around a strap at the age of like 16, bruv. Like it was mental. It was that kind of thing, and it built up a lot of anxiety and a lot of like sort of a lot of issues from that. But anyway, so the reason I'm mentioning that is because, I mean, I can get into it later about all the hedonism stuff, and the reason I was indulging so much into that, it stems a lot from there. But my family, I've been very blessed. Alhamdulillah, I've been very, very blessed. Like I have grown up in a family where my parents have been married for roughly 27 years. Happy marriage. Obviously, every marriage, you have ups and downs. You see them arguing and stuff, but in the end, they came out strong. So, alhamdulillah. I grew up in a big family. I have 5 siblings, so it's quite a big family. Yeah, and most of them are half siblings, so it's like. But the thing is, I'm the youngest, so I grew up with them, so I class them as like my full siblings, even though
of course
they're not.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's this kind of environment I grew up in. As I mentioned, I have like Irish sort of white family, and then I have the sort of other Asian side of things. So got a good mix in there. It's a good it was a mixed experience.
Absolutely, bro. So what you were just saying about your brothers and your sisters, and you said they're half brothers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you heard me talk about, I have brothers who aren't even of the same blood. It's sometimes that doesn't even have to do anything with it, right? It's just about that closeness, that bond you have. And that's a wonderful thing, bro. So, so you said you were brought up in Christianity, yes?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so I grew up, I keep calling it a gospel church, and I know it's actually not the right term. So the right term was an evangelical church. I know they're fairly similar. That's the type of church I used to go to every single Sunday up until roughly the age of like 11, and then I was basically given the choice of whether I wanted to go because I've been complaining for so many years. And obviously, given that choice, I was like, I'm out of here. Like I'm not trying to stay around. I didn't believe at any point in God. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was never. I think in Christianity, the way they keep kids sort of controlled and believing is by just threatening them. They're like, you're gonna burn in hell forever, but they don't tell you why something is wrong. They don't explain anything. They're just saying, have blind faith and do this, because otherwise you're going to burn in hell forever. And they don't tell you anything else. That's it. I can tell you can relate to that.
Of course, man. Of course. Absolutely.
And so I was raised Christian. I'm christened. I don't know if I'm baptized or whatever, but yeah, raised Christian. I can't really complain because out of all of the Christian,
I'd say if you were christened, you were probably baptized.
Yeah, I probably was then. Yeah. But I was going to say, out of all of the different churches, I'm glad that at least I experienced a somewhat exciting one. I remember I used to go every now and then to a Catholic church. And I also went to a Church of England church. You probably don't know what that is, but
I know what a Catholic church is.
Yeah, I know you do. You're Italian, of course you do. But Church of England is kind of like Protestant. I don't know if you know what that is.
Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, we have a lot of Protestants. I know Protestant and even evangelical are very similar from what I understand. At least in America, you know. Let me rephrase that. The way that they are, you know, out of Christian religions, those two are the most like extreme sects of Christianity, like super extreme, like evangelical. There's, I believe there's two evangelical like sects in America, in the down south, where they believe in, you know, holding venomous snakes, and that if they get bit by them, and they do it in church, right? And if they get bit by them, right, they're not allowed to get anti-venom. They have to, you know, kind of play Russian roulette with it. They just lay there, and the priest and everybody, or the pastor, not priest, the minister stands over them and like starts praying or whatever, speaking in tongues. That's really what they do. They speak in tongues. Literally. And, you know, if they live, then they were blessed by God, or stuff like that. And if they die, then, you know, they were meant to go to hell or some crazy stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is insane.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I didn't experience any of that. What church was like for me was just sort of hanging out, and all of the adults were just swaying side to side, singing basically gospel songs and crying and stuff like that. And yeah, I just didn't enjoy it, bro. Like it was just it just felt like a waste of time. I didn't like to interact that much at a young age. I was a bit socially sort of anxious and stuff like that. So, and also something else I forgot to mention, the whole church was black. We were like the only non-black, and it was a big church, by the way. This was like, it could hold at least probably like 1,000 people, maybe. It was a big church, and everyone was black except from us. So on top of the social anxiety that I had as like an 8-year-old or whatever, feeling out of place because, you know,
everyone looks different.
Exactly, everyone looks different from me. They're all, every time that we went, people are sort of looking at us like, are you meant to be here? You know, it's that kind of thing. So I didn't feel like I belonged anyway. I didn't enjoy it. So yeah, I left it. And then from that point, I don't know if you want to move on to this bit next, but
go ahead.
Yeah, so from that point, I'd already given up on religion anyway at such a young age. My father is an atheist, still is. And so every time he would drop us off to church with my mom and my siblings, but then he wouldn't stay. He would just drive off somewhere. And so he wouldn't stay. So I always saw that as like, oh, I wish I could be doing that instead.
Yeah.
And any time that we would skip church, which it would be very rare, but sometimes we would skip it for whatever reason, he would take us to the park. And so if you think about what's happening psychologically, is that you associate going to the park with missing church. Yep. And so that positively reinforces not going to church, right?
Of course.
So that's exactly what happened. So yeah, left the church, didn't look back for about 10, 11 years. And yeah, I started a life full of just complete hedonism, complete selfishness, complete anarchy, bruv. Like,
I know too well,
bro. But yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, there's a lot to say. I don't know if you have any specific questions.
Yeah, of course I do. My bad. I just wanted to write something down while you were talking. Bro. No, that was but bro, that was very on point. Like, even for me as a Catholic, when I went to, you know, when I was a Catholic, as an ex-Catholic, I should say, you know, when I would go to church as a child, you know, it was the same thing. I was forced to go. I never wanted to be there. And same thing that, you know, on the weekends that I would go to my dad's, which was very rare after my parents split up, right? You know, and I would go to my dad's every once in a while. Like I said, on the weekends that we saw my father, it was supposed to be every other weekend, but it was more like every other month type thing, once a month for just a weekend. We would never, ever go to church on Sundays. So I was like, I kind of, you know, I like this. I always hated, my brother and I always hated going to church. You know, my sister, she's 5 years older than me. So she always, you know, I don't want to say they kind of let her do her own thing, but once she reached a certain age, they like, I'd say, I don't know, 15, 16, they kind of stopped pushing it on her.
Yeah.
So my brother and I, we were like forced to go and hated it. Every time, like just sitting in church, my brother and I together, we would just goof around, like trying to find any way to entertain ourselves, bro. Honestly, it sucked.
Bro,
Like,
I don't blame you. Catholic churches are so boring, man. It's like, bro, you can literally hear just like, if there is a little mouse running around, you'll be able to hear it. It's crazy. But like, obviously, if you go to a mosque, the difference is you go to a mosque, you see children playing, you see uncles having little conversations, you see all of these things, and then you see people praying, of course. So, but the thing is that if you go to pray, you don't expect complete silence, because it's a place for people to gather and to celebrate Islam. That's what it is. Obviously, it's a place of worship as well, but you know.
Absolutely. But yeah, with what you were saying, bro, it's like, I remember, and I forget who else I heard say this. It was another like YouTube video that I watched of a scholar, and he was another revert. Bro, I used to hate, like I don't want to say I had nightmares about him, but it was that bad, to the point that I hated sitting in those wooden benches.
Yeah.
And when I like walking into a mosque where I could sit on the ground, and like, I don't know, it's just the comfortability, bro. The first time I walked into the masjid, I could feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? I could feel the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my heart as soon as I entered. Bro, I never felt that in the Catholic Church, ever. It's just like, and I'm sure you can relate, because I have been into I've been into like Southern Baptist church, where these are, you know, normally all black churches, right? Where they're standing up, clapping, singing, you see it in movies a lot, all the time. I don't know is that how your church was?
Something like that. It probably wasn't as like theatrical, but it was similar. Yeah.
Mashallah. Well, astaghfirullah, I should say. But yeah, so that's like the first time that I actually saw that was before I ended up going down south. It was actually when I was still Catholic. I think I was like 10 or 11. I was visiting, you know, I was over a friend's house, and that's what, you know, his family was. So I went to church with them, and I was like, what is this? It's like, this is completely different from what I'm used to. But yeah, man, I completely forget what I was about to say. Oh, it had to do with this comment right here. You know, that in church, right? And no matter what church it is, the music that was like constantly playing, right? And once I became Muslim and I found out that, you know, music is haram, that it takes you away from the deen, and you know, even though you may be listening to music that is, I don't know, that may be calm or beautiful and not getting you to think, you know, shaitanistic thoughts and stuff like this, these are times that you could be, you know, listening to hadith, listening to the Quran, listening to anything, right, that has to do with Islam, rather than this garbage. So
the thing is with music, bro, is that I literally right before this stream, I filmed a video on it that I'm going to be releasing next week, but on like, you know, why you should avoid listening to music. And outside of, you know, the point that you made, you know, it takes you away from Islam. I read an article, I think it's Psychology Today, the top 2 reasons why people in general are listening to music. Or number 1 is for pleasure. So you have something which is literally hedonistic in its nature, which you are feeding yourself with pleasure without working for it. That is essentially hedonism. And the point 2, the reason number 2 of why people listen to music is to regulate their emotions. So are you telling me that you are so emotionally unstable that you need some external force or something to regulate your emotions for you? What happens when you're not listening to music? Are you emotionally unstable? Are you about to shoot up a school? Astaghfirullah, but are you about to do something crazy? Like what? You're reliant on it, which leads me to think that music is on par with drugs.
Absolutely, bro. Like look at what Brother Fazil just said. It's hypnotic. Oh, it absolutely is. It's like I watched something about this, you know, it's I think it was what's his name, bro? I think he was just arrested. The brother he was part of Bad Boy, with Puff Daddy and P. Diddy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Loon,
heard,
the rapper from Brooklyn. or was it the Bronx? I think it was Brooklyn. He, you know, after living the same life, and he was born Muslim into a Muslim family, then he went away, and then he ended up coming back. And once he, you know, now after years of studying Islam and everything, he had a whole like hour-long video, and he's talked about it multiple times, how it's a tool basically that, you know, these music, like the people who own the music companies, they train the artists to basically like call upon the jinn, call upon the genie to almost sacrifice themselves to it. Astaghfirullah, right? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And with this, they then end up hypnotizing everybody into this haram, into this, you know, shooting guns, sex, drugs, alcohol, astaghfirullah, right? And it's insane, really, when you think about it. And it makes sense, though. It makes sense, really does.
Bro, if you want to know the power of music in just a very subtle way and very relatable way, we've all been there where there's music in the background, or we put on music and then we catch ourselves just swaying side to side, or moving to it, or literally singing the lyrics or rapping the lyrics. Imagine if they can do that, physically control your body, they'll be able to control your mind by communicating these, you know, haram messages, whatever it may be, as you said, shooting, killing. But then you got songs like WAP and all of this degenerate like nonsense, which is destroying women. Like it's such a powerful tool, and they're using it really effectively. So, you know, props to them, but it's something that Muslims should avoid at all costs.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic too. Getting into Cardi B and everything like that. Like, bro, it kills me when I see, you know, people like that, the Nicki Minaj's, the Kim Kardashians, the Doja Cats. And when you see these people, when you see like how the music industry dresses them up, and the music videos, they all have like satanistic, like 666, all these things, right? Astaghfirullah, right? And these are the women that literally little girls idolize and look at as their role models. When you have amazing, right, amazing young women who epitomize, right, what a woman should be, a role model, such as like Sister Navira, the Muslim mom, right? You have sisters like this all over, bro. Amazing sisters. And then they go to this, like, it's sad when you see them calling a man being protective of his wife and his family and wanting to be the provider. They call that misogyny, you know, stuff like that. and then you look at what was I gonna say? Then you look at women, right? A woman who is traditional, who wants to be a mother of her family, who wants to wear the hijab, who wants to wear the niqab, who wants to do this stuff, right? And they say, no, you're oppressed. You know, you're not. I think I watched a video of yours maybe yesterday. It might have been this morning. I don't know. I can't remember. It was
the advert where she rips off her niqab.
Yes. And you were talking about, you know, free body, free truck, right?
Yeah.
Well, that phrase, it drives me insane because they think they're free, but really they are the slave to what social media, what these, you know, what these elites in the shadows and high places, the puppeteers, so to speak, are telling them, are making them do. And they don't realize it because this is what has been channeled and brainwashed into them and hypnotized into them from music and social media and movies and the news for years, bro. That 100%. It just became so subtle that they think it's their own thought when it's not their own thought. This is what's been programmed into you.
Yeah. These people are completely ignorant. I think I would say egotistical as well, thinking that they know better than everybody else when most of them are extremely young and haven't experienced life and are basing their views off maybe the last 5 years rather than more conservative people who are basing their views off thousands of years. And I just want to address a comment which I've seen.
Yeah, tell me which one. I'll pull it up.
The one that says, I do not think music is haram.
Yeah, he's a good brother too.
Yeah. I've got no issues with anyone here. All positive vibes and all that, you know. But
no, go right ahead.
100%. I've sent a link to the hadith, and it's extremely reliable hadith. It comes from the most reliable books of hadith. I don't know if you can pull that link up as well. Are you able to do that, or?
I don't see the link. I'll
send it in our chat.
Oh, you sent it in our chat?
Oh no, I'll send it now. I sent it on both, but yeah, I've sent it on.
I don't even see one on here.
I've just sent it now in the private chat.
Hold on. Where is this, bro?
On the StreamYard.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
And I don't want this to take me out of it. All right, good. Let me see. How can I do this?
Yeah, if you can just share that.
I'm trying to figure out how. Oh, you just want me to share the page?
Yeah, no, it's in. Yeah, just put it on screen, like.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I don't know how to, honestly. Hold on.
Actually, I can present as well, I think.
You should be able to.
Okay, I'll present.
You know how to do that?
Yeah. Go ahead, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're the master with this, bro.
Is it on screen? Oh, I think you need to share my screen. This is so funny. We're trying to figure this out.
Hold on.
You can probably see my screen down there if you just press.
Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah. If you just share that, yeah. So here you can see that it says that this person. I'm not gonna pretend to know how to pronounce that, but he heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, "From among my followers, there will be some people who will consider illegal sexual intercourse, the wearing of silk, the drinking of alcoholic drinks, and the use of musical instruments, i.e., music, as lawful." You know, and then he goes on to say other things, and he says, "Allah will." Sorry, I can't even see it on my.
There's a verse in the Quran that's very similar to this too.
Yeah. Okay. I can see it now. Sorry, it was a little bit blurry, but I can see it now. He will transform the rest of them into monkeys and pigs, and they will remain so till the day of resurrection. The bit said before is that he will let the mountain fall on them. So if you're trying to tell me that like music isn't haram when you read it from the second most reliable source of Islamic knowledge, then bro, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah, it's something that you have to figure out on your own. I agree with that, bro.
Yeah,
I got into I don't want to say a debate, but it was a discussion with the brother. Same thing over, something similar to this. And bro, it's, if you're a Muslim and you believe in the hadith and you believe in, if you believe in the hadith and you believe in the Quran and you are Muslim, that's the way I should say it.
Yeah.
Then you should have no problem with understanding and accepting this. I feel like a lot of the time, and this is no disrespect to you, Miswak, or anybody who, has trouble with any kind of hadith or anything that's so-called that is haram by, Muslim standings. I feel like it is themselves trying to justify, why they don't want to give this up and for their own, benefit, for their own pleasure or whatever, right? Because these, like you said, and like we were saying, these things that are haram, such as music, right? I don't know how to explain it. Well, I'll just say clearly the way that you said it, right? You'll just be listening to a track or you'll be listening to music and, you'll be like, you may not even like, you could be out to eat, right? As we're Muslims, or you may be in the barbershop or somewhere.
Yeah.
And, of course, in situations like this where we have no control over the music, this is okay, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this is okay. So did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when it comes to this, right, like you were saying, you could be in these places, you're getting a haircut, whatever. You're there for a couple hours, or you're waiting for a half hour to get your haircut. All of a sudden, you notice yourself tapping your foot or bobbing your head, right? This is the control. When something that is outside of yourself has this kind of control over you, it obviously is not okay, bro. There's something else going on here.
And the main argument that people use for just haram stuff in general is, if it doesn't bring you away from Islam, if it doesn't change your emotions drastically, then it's fine. But music in itself, it does both of those things.
Exactly.
Instead of listening to recitations or reciting the Quran on your own, instead of doing that, you're listening to pointless music. Because what is listening to music? If you think about it objectively, it has zero purpose. It literally has zero purpose. There is no functional, like, what are you actually doing? it's on par with lying down and watching TV, which is not educational. It's exactly
Absolutely,
the
bro.
same. So
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people have a lack of accountability. A lot of people are inherently lazy. A lot of
Mm.
people love to make excuses. And I'm not attacking our brother here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I respect people until they do something which I don't respect.
Of
So
course.
for him, he's just challenging it. And in Islam, it's okay to challenge it, But a lot of people, and I would say majority of people, have a lack of accountability. They blame something else, or they make up excuses as to why they don't want to give something up. And we just we need more voices which are a lot harsher, not as, no, yeah, okay, you can sometimes listen to music. It will take time, this and that. Bruv, stop listening to music, bruv. It's not that difficult. It
I
really
know,
isn't
for
that
real.
difficult. Like,
I
but
mean, some people like this is one of those things that that we talk about, and this is another one like what did you say? So you had talked about, you just made a video about this. Like, this was one of the topics that I have. So before I make a video that covers these things, I make a whole, like, I don't know, I go in my notebook, I do a lot of research, I'll write down like multiple pages on it, which I have done for this piece, and I just haven't yet gotten around to making it. And that also, this also goes on, this is on par with, the pornography thing, right?
mm-hmm.
So with this aspect too, right? Like, to someone like you or me who has a strong way of thinking, right? And we have a strong mind. Really, it's our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I shouldn't have said that word.
Okay.
Oh, you're good. I got you.
Yeah.
So, with this thing, right? It's for you and me. We are strong-minded, and we have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that these kind of things, right? Especially with how strongly you and I have both came into the deen and grown stronger as Muslims, we won't let these kind of things affect us in this way, where we have brothers who are, severely struggling. I get so many messages every day, how can I conquer my addiction to corn, or how can I get over my addiction to music, and like I said, I have so much notes on this. I'm ready to put those. I'm going to make those videos for you guys. But this is a topic where some people really do struggle, and it's sad, man.
It's sad. It's sad. And I think those people who are struggling, maybe I was a bit harsh earlier when I was like, just stop. I know it's not that easy for everyone.
Oh, you were good.
I'm not stupid. But what I want to say is that, yes, we should have empathy for these people. We should have patience, of course. But it comes to a point where, it's been 2 years since you've been trying to give up music and you haven't made much progress. Like, what are you really trying that much? Because 2 years of doing anything, you should be able to do it. Like, unless you are, actually, I'm not going to say it, but unless you're just mentally not capable, then that's another way of saying what I was about to say.
Absolutely. All right, real quick, I just want to say this to Brother Aladdin. So I just want you to, Aladdin, man, that's funny. From The Dictator, isn't that his name in The Dictator, the movie? Yo, so I understand what you're saying, bro. I understand, that the verse ayat 6 from the Quran, from Surah Luqman, where, he says that if you're doing these kind of things without knowledge, you're making a mockery out of it. Well, the fact of the matter is, yes, Brother Yahya and I are both new Muslims. We are Muslim reverts. But when it comes to a subject like this, or, other subjects that I may be keen to, the only reason that I speak on it is because not only have I done my research, I have spoken to, both of my mentors who are both sheikhs, who, they have instilled in me so much knowledge regarding these topics, as well as Brother Yahya. I know he's done a lot of research on this as well. So it's not like I'm sitting here and telling you that you need to do it this way. I'm just explaining to you what I have learned from this and the example of it, right? And this is what Brother Yahya is trying to say too. So please understand that we are only telling from our research, from the knowledge that we have gained from, the Quran, from the Hadith, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know, from other scholars, you know, sheikhs, whatever, inshaAllah. So when it comes to this, brother, I appreciate you, you know, saying this and saying it. I know you mean it in the right way. You're trying to protect us, you know, so that we don't say something that, because if we say something that we don't know knowledge to and we're saying the wrong thing, this can be extremely bad, not only for them, because if they tell somebody, then they tell somebody, it goes on. We get the sins from all of them, all the people who got the misinformation. But we're not spreading misinformation. This is exactly
and,
this is the knowledge.
and also on top of that, like the majority and like the massive majority, we're not talking about like 51% yet. We're talking like most of the respected Islamic scholars agree that music is haram. You also have a source right here from the second most reliable source of Islamic knowledge, explicitly saying that musical instruments is haram. So like, look, if you want to keep arguing, take it somewhere else, because bruv, I don't care. Like, just go away.
Yeah, man. Hold on, what do you say? Yeah, exactly. Why, brother? Majority say that music is haram, and that I don't understand what Aladdin. Why? Like, I'm kind of confused as to what you're saying. Like, I understand you're trying to protect us, but at the same time, right there, you're agreeing with us right now. So I'm kind of lost. But anyways, let's get back on topic. So I know
you know what it is. Sorry, bro. I want to touch on that, because like I get this too, where in my comments you get people who have so much to say, but then they just say, and I'm not attacking this person in particular. I think you know,
he's a good brother.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Especially if you don't agree, it's good to discuss these things 100%. But it's like, sometimes you just feel like, why don't you make your own videos and like talk about it instead of like taking up my time and like discussing it, bro? I'm not getting my source of information from some random person on the internet. I am friends with knowledgeable Islamic people who have studied. Like, I'm friends with these people, so
absolutely.
I'm not taking advice or knowledge from a faceless profile online. Like, that's just not what I'm gonna do. So I respect you. I have love for you for the sake of Allah. But what, like, Islamic knowledge is taking it from you is not what I'm gonna do, bro. So keep it pushing.
To go on with you know, to add to what Brother Yahya was just saying, you know, I've spoken to my sheikh about this as well. What do you say? I'm not against you. I'm not helping you out, giving you the proof. I'm helping you out, giving you the proof that the Quran music is haram.
Oh, yes. I think it was just miscommunication then.
Yeah, it was just miscommunication then, because I thought you were trying to say that, you know, we are the ones that are. I want to pull up the ayat so I say it correctly. So the ayat that he's talking about, it says, you know, hold on, let me pull it. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. It says, but there are some who, this is ayat 6 from Surah 31, Luqman, but there are some who employ the theatrics only to lead others away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's way without any knowledge and to make a mockery of it. They will suffer a humiliating punishment. So when you said this, I thought that you were talking to us, bro. I thought that you were implying that we were the ones that were giving misinformation. That's why I was like, bro, how are we giving information?
Yeah.
When I'm literally, you know, we're both. Brother Yahya is quoting the hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I'm quoting stuff from the Quran, as well as paraphrasing stuff that my mentors have said to me. And one of them being, both of them are hafiz, and one of them has an ijazah, which, to those that don't know what an ijazah is is somebody who, you know, down the line, you learn from, eventually that learn from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? And a hafiz is somebody who has memorized the Quran. So, hold on. All right, yeah, mashallah. So, brothers and sisters, you know, Brother Yahya here, he has a certain amount of time, and I really want to stay on topic with this. And then at the end of it, we can, you know, maybe have some quick questions for him. And then after he, you know, says sayonara, I will stay on for a bit and we can continue talking. But anyways, I want to get into you when you reverted to Islam. You know, what was your first? So you explained that you know, you were raised in Christianity and in evangelical Christianity. And, you know, what was your first introduction to Islam? And your prior that, and what was your prior knowledge to Islam before, you know, you really started researching and everything?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I had Muslim friends growing up, so I knew a little bit about Islam. It was always something that I thought of as, you know, you have to be brown to be a Muslim, right? That's kind of what you just that's and also on top of that, you're fed all of this nonsense in the media, like, you know, extremism and all this sort of stuff. So you have this, it's all, you know what it's like? It's like all of the religions are racing, but then you tell Islam to take about 1,000 steps back. And it's that kind of thing where you start off already thinking, I can't be a Muslim. Islam is only for Arabs or brown people.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you have the negative stereotypes. So that was my impression of Islam, which is strange because I had Muslim friends, and every single one of my Muslim friends are some of the best people who I've ever known.
Absolutely.
The thing is with Islam, typically, I know there are obviously non-practicing Muslims, but the thing is with Islam is that I'd say majority of Muslims, you can tell they're Muslims not just by the look, but by how they act. You know, they abstain from certain haram behaviors. They stop themselves from backbiting. They do all of these things. And even when I was friends with those people, I used to think like, oh, I want to gossip about this. And then they weren't saying anything. And I was just like, oh, you're boring sort of thing. But like, you know, like I was so arrogant and so like naive and so clueless. But now I look back and I'm like, mashallah, like I even now I struggle to sometimes like hold my tongue. So, you know.
Absolutely, bro. No, I can definitely agree with you on that one. I understand that 100%. By the way, one of the brother who sent us that message, he said, where'd that go? He's in the land of your mother in the Philippines.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, that's funny, bro.
Kumusta ka?
Well, I'm gonna throw this back up there. Yeah, please, everybody, smash that like button. And I want to say, for those of my followers, my subscribers that are viewing the channel, that do not already follow our brother Yahya here, please go subscribe to his channel. He's an amazing brother. Very much, we are very similar. You know, as far as our strength in the deen, as far as being motivated in our ambition in the deen. Brother Yahya is very knowledgeable, both outside of Islam, just knowledgeable with the world, knowledgeable in the books, and also knowledgeable in Islam, especially for somebody who's only, what did you revert, 4 or 5 months ago? 6 months ago?
Yeah, started this year, but as I said, I grew up with Muslims, so it's a bit different. Yeah.
So yeah, just everybody, please go subscribe to our brother, an amazing brother, and also those who are new to the channel, please subscribe to me, and don't forget to hit that like button and share the video. Inshallah. Love you guys.
Right now, yeah. You got no choice.
Absolutely. I know where y'all live. Right now. I know where you live. I'm just playing. You know I'm part of the mafia. I'm Italiano. You gotta know this by now. All right. So yeah, with that, brother, too, that's, you know, another thing. It's because we grew up in the city. So we were in like a melting pot of all different cultures. And, you know, I'm blessed that I grew up around Muslims. I had one of my best friends growing up since I was 5 years old. When I was 6 was like my first real introduction to Islam. But anyways, I feel you on that. But even still, you know, like you said, these our fellow Muslims, right, that we met when we were young, they were the nicest ever. They were so genuine. They were so kind, loving, caring, and yet same thing. Yeah, subscribe or you get whacked. Yo, that's too funny. I want to put that on screen real quick, but all right. So
wait,
anyway,
where did you say that?
What?
I can't see that. Where is it? What?
You see it now?
Yeah.
That's funny, crazy, bro. Jazakallahu khairan. I love that. So, man, what was I just saying? Yeah. You know, as you said, I always thought the same thing, that because, you know, this Islam was only for people of brown, right? Of brown color. And of course, I'm kind of bronze. I'm not brown, so I don't fit in that. But of course, and this is what we are fed. This is me at like 5, 6, 7, like you said, at a young age, and we don't really know much about it. We just know that we know what we're fed, what we're brainwashed, what's been programmed into us since we're kids. And subhanAllah, that you and I both ended up seeking the truth, and we found it in Islam.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, should I carry on with sort of how I reverted then?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so essentially what happened was that, okay, so I should probably touch a little bit on my life before. So the life that I used to live, I can kind of sum it up in, and I know this is going to sound so cringy. Yeah? Every time I say it makes me cringe. But there was a period of time in my life where I was a dating coach, right?
You were what?
A dating coach.
Yeah. I know this about you.
Cringy,
it's funny,
man. Anyway.
You got Hitch over here. You ever seen the movie Hitch? That's funny, bro.
But yeah, no, it's mad cringy. But anyway, so I was a dating coach.
Real quick, let me ask you, right? Were you a dating coach, like in the sense of just to your friends? Like, because my friends always used to ask me for advice, like tips on how to get women and stuff. Okay, you did it online.
Yeah.
Oh, mashallah. Well, not mashallah. Astaghfirullah.
Yeah.
Bro. What am I saying? I'm the one who needs to get whacked.
Yeah.
Go on, brother. Go on.
Yeah, so it's online. It's decent money, It's actually not bad. It's difficult to scale because unless you're very well known, you can't really sell a course on it or anything like that. So you basically have to do one-to-one meetings or calls or whatever. So there's only a certain amount of money you can make from it.
Yeah.
So the way that you become a dating coach, and you shouldn't listen to all of these pickup artists and gurus and all of that. How you learn to be a dating coach is not through a certification or a course or anything like that. Like with everything else, it's about being in the field, being out there, implementing the skills that you have learned theoretically. So now you have the practical skills to back it up. And so after years of doing that, brother, I shouldn't say. Look, I was doing certain things since I was like 13, like madness, like absolute madness. Mm-hmm. And so we're talking about like 10 years of doing a certain thing. You're going to pick up skills about it, right?
Oh, 100%.
So that's how I was able to teach. And that kind of tells you what life I was living. The reason I use that as an example is because I don't want to get into the details of what I was actually doing, right? So
I get it, bro.
That sort of paves the way for me reverting. So I was living a certain lifestyle, very, very hedonistic, very selfish, thinking about my own pleasure and not thinking about anything else, right? So I was getting tattooed. I got this sleeve done in Portugal. Mm-hmm. So I flew there, and throughout the whole session, I had something wrong with my throat. And it was so painful that I couldn't even feel my tattoo being done. It was like you've sat through 8-hour sessions, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's painful, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and try and sound like a hardo, but definitely certain parts of the body hurts more than others. And like honestly, the one that hurt me the most was right here, bro. Like on my collarbone, and then right here on my sternum. That hurt worse than anything. But yeah, it's
I don't know, bro. All of it hurts. All of it hurts.
It's not a good feeling, bro.
Yeah. So, and the thing is with 8-hour sessions that, the first hour is okay because, it's whatever. But after 8 hours, you're swollen. They're going over the same thing over and over again. And theoretically, you should hurt from that, right? Yeah. I couldn't feel it at all. I was so, like, my throat was so painful that I just couldn't even feel it. So anyway, I went to Portugal alone. I went back to I was staying at an apartment, like a holiday rental, right? And I was by myself. And in the middle of the night, I was in so much pain. I woke up and I couldn't breathe properly. And so I was panicking at first. I was like, what should I do? What should I do? My throat was getting tighter and tighter. I didn't know what to do. And so weirdly enough, I messaged my dad. I just thought, like he'll know what to do. He's traveled so much. He knows all of the emergency numbers and all of this and that, or that kind of thing.
Of course.
So I messaged him, and this was like 2-3 a.m. in the morning, and he's never awake at that time.
Your
So
father.
yeah, exactly. So I messaged him and he replied instantly. And I was just like, what? Well, at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I was just, I was relieved. I was very, very happy. And anyway, he sent me the number. And so I called the number, ring, ring. They didn't pick up at first. Yeah, I had to ring again. Imagine that, calling an ambulance and they don't pick up.
Yeah,
I
bro,
was
it
panicking,
happens.
bro.
It happens.
Yeah. And so I called again. They picked up and I was trying to communicate with them. So on top of my throat being almost shut and my jaw hurting so much I could barely open it, I couldn't speak Portuguese. So if they couldn't speak English, I couldn't speak
You don't know
Portuguese.
any Spanish at all.
Portuguese, bro. It's not even Spanish.
No, I know it's Portuguese, but it is similar to Spanish.
Yeah,
if you could speak a little bit of Spanish, you would be able to get by in Portugal.
I mean, not enough Spanish to tell them exactly where I was.
Okay.
So I was, I looked on my phone, looked at my location, tried to say the street name, and I must have said it about somewhere between 8 to 10 times. And each time that I said it, my throat was getting tighter and tighter, and I was finding it hard to breathe. And it got to a point where I was like, I might have one go left because my throat was so tight.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was crazy, and I didn't know what it was as well. And so, but the strange thing is that I stopped panicking after all of that because I was like, you know what, maybe this is just it. And I've had fun, like all I do is have fun, bro. So I kind of, it was a strange moment because I kind of accepted that this was it. And when I think back at that, I'm like, imagine if I had actually died, if I had just given up and I just been, oh, whatever, like this isn't working, and I would have died doing all of that crazy stuff.
Yeah, bro.
Astaghfirullah, like it's crazy to think back. And but yeah, on the final breath,
glad you survived, bro. I'm glad you're here, man.
Alhamdulillah, bro. And then on the final breath, he understood what I said, and they sent an ambulance, and it came pretty quickly, to be fair.
So what did it end up being, bro?
I don't know the actual term for it, but it's when you have an extremely large ulcer behind your tonsils, and I already had massive tonsils anyway. So what it did, the ulcer just pushed the tonsils closer together.
You could barely breathe.
Yeah, so I could barely breathe. And this was the first time that I'd ever had it. So obviously since then I've had my tonsils removed. So that isn't an issue anymore. Alhamdulillah. Like, but yeah, at the time I had no idea. There's nothing you can really do in that situation as well. So I arrived at the hospital, had injections in certain places, was put on a oxygen mask and all of that. So yeah, that was what a night. And then the next morning, when I say it was like
my apologies. I'm like really into this. I'm answering my sister right now on the phone, so I apologize, bro. But like my sister. Yeah, go ahead. Seriously, okay. I'm like, as I'm listening, I'm like, bro, what? Like, and you don't know, you do know what it is, you just don't know the term exactly. You're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I could find. I'm not off the top of my head. I'll be able to easily find it at some point.
Yeah, the fact that you explained it. My bad. I'm sorry to interrupt. The fact that you explained it well enough, though, that your tonsils like got so swollen not your tonsils, the ulcer got so swollen to the point that. Yeah, bro, that's crazy. I got my tonsils removed when I was young, my tonsils and my adenoids, bro, because I get sick all the time. I get strep throat constantly from it.
Exactly. And the weird thing is, in the UK, because it's public healthcare, you need to get tonsillitis about 8 times a year in order for it to get removed. But the weird thing about it is that I used to get it between 6 and 7 times a year, so I was never allowed to get it removed. And my tonsils were massive. Yeah. So I always got tonsillitis usually. So I was like, oh, this must be tonsillitis or something like that. But when you have that big painful ulcer, which also means that you can't open your mouth properly as well. So it was, I basically had lockjaw.
You didn't know you had this ulcer until then, or no?
So it was bad. No, I just thought it was tonsillitis. I was just like, oh.
Never knew about the ulcer. Never knew before this.
No, and the amount of time that it takes to really escalate was a matter of 2 or 3 hours.
Alhamdulillah.
It was crazy. And what ends up happening in order for it to be sort of drained is that well, it either pops or you need someone to come in with a needle through your throat and pop it. So yeah, that was
that's what they did.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. And then like a few weeks later, I'll get back to the story, but a few weeks later, I had it again, but in the UK. So, but the thing is, I knew what it was, so I went straight to the hospital, and they took a sample of like blood from my tonsils. So they stuck a needle in my tonsil, and yeah, that was I don't cry often, but that was one of the times that
I can imagine, bro. Jeez, I don't think I would like a big needle like shoved down my throat either.
That's crazy, subhanallah. But yeah, when I say that the next morning, bro, when I say it was like the movies, when you know in a horror film when something mad has gone on, some like crazy stuff has gone on, and then the next morning it's all just you see the sun shining in, and like it's all happy days. That's literally what it was like. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I walked down to the pharmacy or the chemist or whatever you want to call it, got all of my 7 or 8 forms of medication, and I sat by the beach or by the sea, sorry. And in that moment, I just felt like there was a presence there. There was just something at the time, something had saved me. That's how I felt. That's genuinely, there was just a presence. Alhamdulillah, bro.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, you've heard my story, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, bro, see, yes, we did. We took different paths. Well, I lived the hedonistic, same thing. Like I partied all the time, so we were similar in that aspect. But it's crazy how, bro, almost every single person that I spoke to, there's only really one that I know, and I don't want to say his name on stream. That I've spoken to that, you know, hasn't been through something completely like traumatic and life changing, like literally life and death type moment to the point that made you revert to Islam. So, I mean, you may not have reverted at that exact time, but eventually that was one of the things that probably got you into really thinking about things, right?
Yeah. I think about 3 years later, I reverted. So it took me a long time. After that, I came back to London and I wanted to explore Christianity because, I mean, if you're from the Western world and you're religious, you're going to be Christian, right? That's the only option.
Keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah. No worries. I'll talk to the chat at least. I'll tell them what's going on.
Back. I just had to grab something.
No worries. So yeah, as I said, as a Westerner, you don't really think about the option of becoming Muslim, really, and you don't think about Judaism, you don't think about being Hindu, Sikh, or Buddhist. So I was like, okay, I was raised Christian. Clearly, there's a God, so it must just be the Christian God or any 3 of them or whatever. But so I visited that, and for a period of time I was very much convinced because I was like, well, I was saved that night, so I must be Christian, right? There must be a God. And even as much as getting a cross on my chest. So
brother, trust me.
Oh, right. I wasn't sure if you were talking, bro. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm listening to you.
Oh no, I wasn't sure.
To you. Yeah, you're good.
I wasn't sure, bro. I was waiting for you. I was like, is he talking? Or?
No. I'm listening to you, bro. That's why I put it in so I could hear you better. He's like,
I couldn't tell, bro.
You're good, brother. You're good.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that because I'm a very impulsive person at times. You know, I got the tattoo thinking, yeah, I must be Christian. And then I actually really did my research and I came to a realization almost probably about a few weeks after I got the tattoo. I was like, oh no, what did I do? Yeah. Yep. It was that realization of like, I'm such a dummy, bro. Like it was just so stupid. But anyway, the concerns that I had were honestly the typical ones that you always hear. It's like, how can God be split into 3? How can he be omnipresent? You know, 3 forms of God. How could God be in the form of man who grew up, started off as a baby, was taken care of, who wanted to learn about God, even though that is God, was praying to God? Is God praying to himself? it was like all of these things, and then you throw into the mix of when was the Bible written? It was written 300 or 400 years after Christ. You know, there's a massive gap right there. Who wrote the Bible? You know, all of these things like that. We don't even know who wrote the Bible, and they weren't there when all of that happened.
Absolutely.
So it was a whole. If it was one thing, then maybe I'd be able to overlook the sort of logical inadequacies. But bro, it was like 5 or 6 big things which I just couldn't get any answers. So yeah, anyway, that I rejected religion at that point because I was like, well, if it's not Christianity, then you know, it's nothing else, right?
Absolutely.
And so I went back to my hedonistic ways and yeah, doing even crazier stuff than I was doing before, honestly. Yeah, that's and the thing is, I haven't said this publicly and I'm not going to give any details away, but my previous life was documented. I'm not going to say how or where, but it's documented.
You have to tell me after this.
I'll tell you, bro, but it's documented. Like,
you tell me.
I'm not going to say exactly
tell
what.
Tell me, and then I'll announce it to everybody. So I'm just playing. That's stuff for love, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm not going to say how.
You on the Jersey Shore of England or something like that?
No, worse than that. But anyway.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, we'll talk about this after, bro.
Yeah, we'll talk about offline. We'll talk about.
I gotta hear this.
But it's buried anyway. It's buried. I made sure. But so yeah, I went back to hedonistic ways, and then I met a Muslim brother, at my workplace.
How old are you at this point?
So I must have been about 21, 22. Yeah. Okay.
How old are you right now, by the way? I meant to ask that.
I'm 25, bro. How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
Like 28? I don't
know. Honestly, like, so before I tell you, right?
Bro, why are you delaying it? It's making me nervous, bro.
I like to hear this, bro, because I get all the time. People always think that I'm like 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, right? Yeah. And bro, if I would have shaved my beard and everything, I look like I'm 18. See, look at this other brother said I look 27. I'm 31. I'm about to be 32.
MashaAllah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, so, you're blessed with those with the genes.
I joke all the time. Obviously, it's not the truth, but that party lifestyle, you know, must have kept us young. Obviously, that's far from the truth. It's the exact opposite. But we just have good genes, bro. Yeah, I wanted to tell you too, Akhi. You know, you really like. So from before I even asked you just in the beginning what your heritage was, 100%. Like I thought that you were, you know, half Asian, half Irish, because you have that Irish look to you, like the black hair and everything. You do seriously. Yeah. But you also look like you could be Italian. Straight up.
No way, bro. No
really,
way.
I thought that you were a fellow paisan, bro. Serious.
Wow, yeah. I don't know what to say, bro. I've never heard that before. The things that I usually get: Kazakh, Uzbek, Turkish. I got a Russian. No, you know Kazakhstan.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Kazakh. Yeah.
Really?
Kazakh, Uzbek, Turkish. I got a Russian when I was in Turkey. In Turkey, they thought I was Turkish.
So is this after you became Muslim?
Oh yeah, that's the thing, because I've grown my beard, so yeah.
Before you became Muslim, what did people think you were?
Oh, they just thought I was half Asian.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yo, bro, so even before I became Muslim, you know, the main things that I would get was that people always thought I was Puerto Rican or like Hispanic. Like that's the one thing that people always think I am, right? Like no matter where I go, people will start speaking to me in Spanish. You know, I get it all the time, Akhi. So people think I'm Asian a lot, which I'm not, just because my eyes are very squinty.
Yeah, you got little squinty eyes, yeah.
Yeah, bro. I've always been that way.
Like mine, bro.
Bro, my grandfather, and this is my Irish Scottish grandfather, right? So I'm 75% Italian and then 25% Irish. So both my mom's parents, they're both 100% Italian. Then my father's parents, my father's mother, my grandmother on my dad's side is 100% Italian. And then my father's father, my grandfather on my dad's side, he is 50% Scottish, 50% Irish. So,
MashaAllah.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Oh, his nickname, my grandfather, the one I just talking about, they used to call him Chong. That was his nickname because he always had squinty eyes. So I was the one that got that characteristic. My dad doesn't have it, but I got it. So,
I mean, look, I think as kids, we always want to be the same as everyone else. But as you grow up, the more unique you look, the better it is, because, you know, you are different, and that's something to be, you know, it's something valuable. So
absolutely.
MashaAllah, bro. I like your eyes. Don't worry.
Hey, yo.
No homo, bro. Astaghfirullah.
Nah, I'm just playing with you.
You were moving to me earlier. You were checking me out, remember? So
yeah. You had to pay the favor back, bro. You had to pay the favor back. Hey, bro. See what I'm saying? This is my brother Yahya right here. He's good people. Like I said before, for those that are new, that are just coming in now, please go follow and subscribe to Brother Yahya. I have his channel I believe I put his Instagram down below in the description of the video. And mashallah, he's a wonderful brother. So yeah, let's continue, Akhi.
Appreciate it, bro. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I met my friend. I actually did a video of him. He was just sort of telling a story of how he gifted me a prayer mat, which wasn't meant to be a gift. He was giving me birthday presents. It was just a I don't know. He gave me like some clothes, and he gave me an English translation of the Quran, and he brought his sister's prayer mat with him because he wanted to pray, but he left it in the bag, and I took the bag thinking it was for me. And a few months after that, I sent him a photo of the prayer mat saying, I prayed today for the first time. So it all came sort of full circle.
He still didn't know that you had the prayer mat?
No, he knew that I had it, but so I took the bag and I was like, oh, you bought me a prayer mat.
I understand that. Yeah. I'm just saying, so afterwards he found out, like he knew. You said, oh, thanks for the gift.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, oh, you bought me a prayer mat. And he was like, he didn't know what to say because he didn't want to be rude. And the thing is, the even worse thing about it is that it wasn't even his, it was his sister's. And it was a special gift from one of her, like, I don't know, someone gifted her it as a special prayer mat or something.
Of course.
And so, and he didn't know what to say, but then he reasoned it by saying that, you know, if this contributes to him reverting, then there'll be a lot of rewards in that. So he let me keep it. And literally a few months later, I sent him a photo of it and saying, I prayed for the first time today. So alhamdulillah.
That's beautiful, bro. So, bro, by the way, when was your? I know I want you to continue, but when exactly? Like, do you remember the date that you reverted off the top of your head, or no?
I've got a certificate somewhere, not off the top of my head. It was I think it might have been at the start of February. Okay,
so you were right. Like I reverted January 26th of this 2020.
Yeah, it was around the same time. Yeah.
MashaAllah. So we reverted right around the same time.
Yo, I know I was meant to go in like 10 minutes, but I'll stay on for like another 5 or so minutes if you want to sort of.
Absolutely, bro. I'm gonna stay on after you leave anyway, just to talk a little bit. But
okay, cool.
Yeah, however long you can stay, we appreciate it. You know.
Yeah.
Alaikum assalam to everybody just coming in, by the way.
Yeah, I just don't want to rush it because you know I hate those things where a lot of details missed out. So
yeah, let me state this first before we continue. My brothers and sisters that are here, thank you for coming. And I just want to say, this is first of many live stream episodes with Brother Yahya and myself. So we may not, or we're definitely not. We're not gonna. This isn't gonna include everything from his story. Like he was just saying, we do not want to rush this. I want him to take his time so you guys can fully get the effect of, you know, his revert story. And you can appreciate where he came from, where we come from as reverts as well. So there will be a part 2, maybe a part 3 and 4 after that. So you will for sure see it. Inshallah. So with that being said, keep going, Akhi.
Yeah. So So yeah, I think I was learning more and more about Islam through this brother, this very kind-hearted brother, and I'm still friends with him now. He actually got married the other day.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Um, so yeah, this is a long time ago, man. But anyway, I was learning about Islam, and he would not be forceful. He would just sort of ask me questions, and he wouldn't say, "Oh, that's bad. You shouldn't be doing this." I think he was genuinely intrigued as to why I was doing the stuff that I was doing. So for him, he's very practicing. The stories that I would tell him, I didn't realize at the time I shouldn't be telling him these crazy stories, but I would tell him these stories and he'd just be so fascinated. But not in a way that, oh, I really want to do that as well. It was more
Yeah,
so
he just
like
wanted to know.
exactly that. And so he would ask me questions and he'd be very patient with me. And so when he would ask me questions, it really made me think. I was thinking like, why am I doing this? What are the impacts of doing this? What's the impacts on a micro level? So what's the impacts on me? They were negative, obviously. But what's the impacts on a macro level? What the way that I might have treated other people, or maybe my future would have suffered, or whatever it was all negative.
Hmm.
Nothing positive came from it. Yeah, I understand female nature a lot better than probably 99% of guys, but like that is good and it will keep me safe in terms of marriage and all that. But is it worth all the things, all the other things I have to sacrifice? All of my somewhat innocence and I have to be honest. I think potentially my relationships with females is damaged because of it. You know,
Sure.
it's something that I'm sure it can be repaired over time, but like I have to be honest. Like the way, the, astaghfirullah. I'm not going to get into it, but like it's crazy. But anyway, so I was questioning it a lot, and I'll tell you a story about the first time that I went into a masjid, or sorry, the first time that I tried to. So I was
Tried
dressed.
to. Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa. All right, go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead. I want to hear this.
So I was dressed. I was basically dressed like this, right? I was just wearing like a t-shirt or something. And we was in for those. Actually, no, I'm not going to say the masjid. But it's one in London. It's relatively well known.
Okay.
Um, and I was out with a friend, this same Muslim brother. Used to go out all the time during lockdown and all of that. So we'd be walking around, and he would take me to different spots and like just show me around, because on that side of London I wasn't really that familiar with it.
Okay.
And so we came to this masjid and he went in before me. I think I was on my phone. I was just calling someone because I was about to so I was about to meet up with someone after that. And so I went in probably about 10 seconds later, or I tried to, and I was dressed like this. And the person at the door, the brother at the door, told me that it was shut. And literally I watched my friend go in 10 seconds before me, and this brother says, "Oh no, you can't come in. It's shut." And I didn't really argue. I was just like, "Oh, okay, like it's whatever."
Can I ask, were you dressed in a thobe or anything, or no? You were
I was
dressed
just
like
dressed
this,
like this.
so he could see your tattoos.
Yeah. And I didn't have a beard. It was like some weak beard, like
Okay. So this is in the very beginning after you reverted.
Yeah. No, it wasn't after I reverted. It was before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
MashaAllah.
was before. So I had like ear piercing, all of that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The truth comes out. Now I see. No, I'm just playing
Yeah.
with you. Go ahead. Go
Wow.
ahead.
But yeah, I tried to go in, and then yeah, he rejected me. I walked away for a little bit, and then I saw a couple of other brothers going in. I was just thinking like, nah, this is like not a hate crime, but this is this is horrible, you
Yeah.
know. And I started
Absolutely.
to think like, am I going to be accepted? Because that was the first time that I really looked to myself, and I was like, oh, I don't look like a Muslim. Like, I'm covered in tattoos. My past is wild. Like, how am I going to be a Muslim? And so from that day, I was kind of down about it. But then, looking back on it, I think, it's widely known that, if you continue to pursue knowledge and you take steps closer to Islam and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will make things easier for you. And I look back and I'm very grateful that I was guided, because a lot of people would have thought, nah, this isn't for me. I'm not going to be accepted. And they would have, I don't want to say like cowered out of it, but they would have been pushed away from it. for me, I'm so stubborn that you tell me not to do something, I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
do
do
it, bro.
it. Same way,
Yeah.
bro.
So yeah, so I mean that was just an interesting story. That was my first time ever trying to go into a masjid. So and
MashaAllah.
I wasn't allowed. So but
So now you
yeah,
want to go. Now you want to get in the masjid even more so because someone's
bro,
telling you no.
I've been in there about 5-6 times, and this is on the other side of London, so I'm
Oh,
never
so you
there.
had already been in a masjid before this.
No, this was the first time, but ever
Okay.
since then, I've been in that same masjid. So yeah.
Did you ever talk to the brother since the one who denied you? Have you spoken to him?
I have to be honest, it's in an area where I'm probably giving up too much information, but it's in an area where everybody is Bengali, like from Bangladesh.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm gonna sound racist, but I wouldn't be able to point them out. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
If you go to China, you don't know who's who, bruv. Let's be
I
honest.
shouldn't be laughing, but yeah, I got you. I understand
man.
what you're saying. Shout out to all my Bengali brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to state for everybody asking questions at the end, right before he leaves, we'll give a couple minutes so he can answer some questions. But to some of the questions you guys are asking, these are actually questions that I have for Brother Yahya, and hopefully we may have time to do it today. But what do you say? How much time do we have left? Do you have like 10, 15 minutes or no? Only 5 minutes?
I'll stay on for another 15, yeah.
All right, mashallah.
Okay, no, look, I'll stay on until the end, whenever that is. I was gonna go gym, but I'll just go tomorrow morning, bro. Don't worry.
You sure?
Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry.
All right,
You
mashallah.
ruined my evening, bro. No, I'm joking.
Astaghfirullah. Bro, do you have what was I gonna say? You guys don't have like 24-hour gyms there?
Yeah, we do, but most of them are like, if a gym is 24 hours, it's usually not good.
Okay.
Because to operate a 24-hour gym, you need, well, it's not gonna have staff like half the time. So
absolutely. What gym do you go to, if you don't mind me? Can't say it?
No, I can say it, but it's not like it's not a have you heard of
so it's not like Edge, or I don't know if you guys have Edge over there.
No, we don't have that.
That's one of the better ones over here. And I don't even think, well, the two Gold's gyms that we had near me, they're gone. They replaced them with Planet Fitnesses, so I don't even know if they're there anymore.
Yeah, no, it's none of them. It's not even a chain. So it's one of it's owned by the trainer of you know what? It will come to me in a second, but he was a heavyweight champion. He's British and he's young. Mixed race guy. What's his name?
MashaAllah.
Anthony.
Like boxing?
Anthony
boxing?
Joshua. Do you know Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So his trainer owns this gym, so that's the ones that I go to. But anyway, it's open. It's open like 5 a.m. until like 11 p.m. So it's not 24-hour.
What time is it now? You can't. How long do you do your workout sessions?
Like maybe hour 15, hour and a half.
You can make it, bro.
Yeah, I have to drive there and stuff, and like.
Okay. Hey, all right, bro. I feel bad now. You make me feel bad, bro, that I'm taking you away from the gym.
You should, bro.
Let me just stress that fact right now to everybody here. Gym is important to all my brothers and sisters out there.
Yeah.
I know that I knew that you talk about a little bit about physical fitness. I haven't really heard you go crazy into it from the videos I've seen. But I don't go crazy into talking about it either. I mention it once in a while. But when it comes to, physical fitness, it is, to me, it is 100% extremely, or 110% extremely important, to be, if you can be physically fit, you will be mentally fit, spiritually fit, and it all revolves around each other. If you're mentally fit, you will be physically fit, and vice versa. You can't have one without the other. That's how I feel. So
yeah. I mean,
subhanAllah.
Anybody who's worked out knows the feeling you get after a workout. It's like, bruv, I dread going to the gym almost every single time, and then once I'm there, I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. I feel good, and then after, you feel like you're on top of the world. So I would. For any guy who feels tired, lack of motivation, it's probably because your testosterone's a bit low. What is one of the number one things to boost your testosterone? other than sleep, is to go to the gym, you know, work out, lift heavy weights for a lot of reps. That's how you boost your testosterone. So it's great for men, but it's great for women as well. You know, it's if you want to be attractive for your future husband or your current husband, work out. Like it's so simple. But yeah, I tried to go. I used to go every day. Then it just got to a point where it just wasn't sustainable. So I currently do about 3 days a week, like weights, and then I box maybe twice a week. So I'd go about 5 times.
MashaAllah, I didn't know you were a boxer, kid. I trained when I was younger, from age 7 to 15, because I had serious anger management problems. So that's my family put me in boxing. No, I'm serious. They put me in boxing because of it. And
MashaAllah.
Bro, honestly, even though I was just a little, you know, I was just a little ish. By the time I was 15, you know, I had gotten, you know, since that time, like I said, I'm double that now. So now I'm 31, whatever. And I'd say probably 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I was the biggest I had ever been. I wanted to bulk up and gain as much, you know, as much muscle as I possibly could. Now I'm 5'8.5", 5'9", and my normal weight, right, when I'm fit and like really in shape like I was when I was boxing, that should be 165, 170. But when
what is that in sorry, it's because we don't use pounds. So wait, one second.
What do you guys use? Kilograms?
Yeah, kilograms. Wait, one second. Oh, 75 kg. Okay,
so I just want to look this up too. So the highest, you know, like I said, it's like 170, 175. That's my average. So 175 lbs in kg.
Wait, so the heaviest you were was 165, did you say?
No. Right. That was when I was boxing. Like when I was a kid, I weighed a lot less because I was small. But I'd say if I were boxing still, you know, the best, like me, like completely being all muscle with like little to no fat on me, I'd say would probably be around the 165-ish range.
Okay.
So 175 to me, that is good shape, right? That's probably, I'm around that now. I'm 175, 180. But when I bulked up to get huge, right? I just want to see what this is in kg. 1 second.
So you
like, what the hell?
In kg, you were saying about 80 is good.
For me, that was like 79, 80. So this is it. I got it right here. Actually, no, I was more like 2. Yeah, hold on.
Woo, I heard you say 2.
I was over 200, bro. I was over 200. So
bro.
I'm looking at it now. I just converted it. So when I bulked up, right now I'm 5'8.5", 5'9".
Yeah.
So I was like this little tree trunk, right? Like, bro, my abs were like I wasn't all cut up in my abs, but you could see my abs.
You had abs at 2 something.
Yeah. So I was 220 pounds. I was 99.79 kilograms.
Yeah.
I just did it. Bro. I was huge, bro. And
that's like, not good though. That's too heavy. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So when I got like that, like I wanted to do it so bad because I was with some of my best friends. They were, one of my best friends was juicing, right? Yeah. And my 2 other best friends and I were like, yeah, we're not taking that route. We're gonna do it natty. We're gonna be natural, 100%, right? I didn't even use creatine. I don't like creatine. I stay away from it. I use the pre-workout, but I don't do the creatine stuff. So, bro, I was eating so much and drinking so much protein shakes. Like your body can only take in a certain amount. I think it can only take in like 25 to 30 grams of protein every 4 or 5 hours. Your body cannot, like your liver and kidneys, it can't break it down. It cannot break down that protein over 25 to 30 grams of protein quicker than that. Like it just can't. So all the excess protein just goes to whatever. It turns into fat, whatever it does. But
yeah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi, Sister Navira. yeah, so I was big. I was big. And, you know, I was like, I looked back and I was thinking about how I was when I was boxing. And I was like, bro, that was the best shape I was in my life. Seriously, at 15 years old, best shape I was ever in. So, like, since then, I've made sure that I got back into not just lifting weights now. Now when I lift smaller weights at higher reps. And I do a lot of calisthenics now. I'm back into, you know,
inshaAllah, bro.
a lot of push-ups, pull-ups. Do you know the Tyson work? The Mike Tyson push-ups?
Oh, I'm not even gonna try and describe, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you kind of it's like I don't know how to explain it. You push up and then I can show you better than I can.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I do know, but I know he does some crazy. Have you seen his neck workout?
Bro, it's insane.
Have you seen the thing where he goes?
Yeah, he's insane. He's insane, bro. The dude had no neck. When he was in his prime, he had no neck, bro.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But actually, no, that is a good point. So obviously, the thing is with combat sports is that it kills two birds with one stone, right? So you get in fantastic shape, but you also learn a very valuable skill. And, well, actually multiple skills, because you pick up the discipline aspect of it, right?
Absolutely.
This is something that can be implemented in everything in your life, including praying salah. So that is extremely important. But also on top of that, you learn how to defend yourself. And it gives you a certain air of confidence, because I don't know about you, but when you walk into a room and there's a group of guys, it takes a lot to really scare me. You know, obviously, I only truly fear Allah. But, you know, there are some big guys out there. And if you see signs that someone has had fights, or, you know, their nose is crooked and stuff like this, and, you know, if a guy's like 6'5" and built, obviously I'm going to be a little bit intimidated. I won't be like that. But it teaches you confidence through capability. And this is with everything in life. In order to be confident, truly confident, you need to have done that thing many times. You need to be capable.
Absolutely, bro.
And so, yeah, that's extremely important. Something else I wanted to mention as well is that for anybody who's looking to lose weight, in a healthy way, something that I've done in the past and I'm currently doing as well, is that it's not a carnivore diet, because I include like fruits and stuff, because I just enjoy fruits, and I don't want to be 100% strict on my diet. I don't think it's sustainable to do that.
You said do what? Be 100% what?
Strict. Like, as in, I can only eat this and I only eat this and I can't eat that. So I like to indulge every now and then, but for the most part, I basically eat only meat. I don't really have veg. I don't really have like rice or any like potatoes or anything like that. And then I have fruit, and sometimes I have a little bit of yogurt or something like that. Every now and then I'll indulge and I'll have, you know, like a fried chicken or something like that. But oh man, it's got me hungry thinking about it.
I was just gonna say, bro, you got me hungry right now talking about this.
Yeah, I like fruits like watermelon. It's extremely beneficial. I'm not going to say exactly why, but I mean, it contains a lot of stuff that, you know, will benefit you.
I know that I'm pretty sure watermelon, if you eat enough of it, or just even a little bit, is an aphrodisiac, I believe. I may be wrong on that. I know strawberries are.
I'm not too sure, but it increases. I mean, for guys out there, if you're married, especially, it increases your libido.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what aphrodisiac is.
I didn't know what you meant, bro.
Yeah, aphrodisiac is something that like it gets you going, like oysters.
Okay.
You know oysters.
Oh yeah.
Oysters. Bro, I used to, you know, astaghfirullah. I really shouldn't share this, but you know, this is just so you guys, most of you who follow me, you know the past that I come from. But bro, I remember being out at the bar and astaghfirullah, and just like I would take a picture of the oysters, right? I'd have like 24 oysters on the half shell in front of me, and I would just post it on Snapchat, and I would be like, I'm dead horny right now, or something stupid like this, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the insanity that you have when you're living in that lifestyle. Like, that's all that goes on in your mind is just hedonism and pleasure and astaghfirullah, bro. I had to say it because I want you guys to really understand, especially those brothers and sisters who mostly brothers that I talk to that reach out to me who say, they have this temptation and, they wish that they could experience what we got to. And believe me, you don't wish you could, because there's nothing but misery out there. Like, we say pleasure, but that's what we thought pleasure was. It's nothing but straight misery in the end. Truly, it's straight misery.
It's temporary
Exactly.
pleasure. And the thing is with it is that it's difficult, because you can tell someone, oh, this is bad, it's not as good as you think, but until they've actually done it, they're gonna think, oh, this is so amazing. So it's difficult, because if someone older than me was to tell me 5-10 years ago that, oh, if you do this, you're gonna feel very empty, I'm still gonna do it, because
I would have told them to screw.
Yeah, exactly that. And so I find it difficult telling guys, like, I've been there, I've done that many times, but like, it's really not that worth it. At the end of the night, I've had instances where it's 2 a.m. I'm sitting in my car and I'm about to burst into tears, because I'm looking at my life thinking, well, what am I doing, bruv? Like, well, what am I doing? I'm driving around every single night doing madness, bruv. Like, I'm not even gonna say it, but yeah, anyway, I was doing crazy stuff, bro.
Trust, bro. You heard me just now. I
know. I heard you, bro. I think everyone did.
yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone did. But bro, trust me, I understand. And it's like you said, it is pure insanity, bro. Pure insanity. Yeah. So you remember where we were at? I want you to continue.
Yeah. I don't think we got to the actual revert, the Shahada.
Yeah, because that's what I was just gonna say to next. That's pretty much where we were at. So
I guess I'll just fast forward to that. So I took
don't rush it. Don't rush it. If there's more to lead up to that, go right ahead, bro. Seriously.
It's one of them things where it's kind of a blur at some parts. It was so I was I guess I was in actually, I'll talk about this because this is somewhat interesting, because a lot of the stuff I don't want to like harp on about, because I've told it in different live streams and stuff, and it's kind of a bit boring at that point. But I'll tell you some stuff that I haven't really talked about too much. I might have mentioned it in another one, but I was in a relationship with one of these modern feminists, right?
I heard this story.
Yeah.
I think this is good. This is good. Go ahead. So
me personally, even though I used to hang out with certain crowds where it's very liberal and very it was degenerate and all of that kind of stuff, I have always been more conservative. I've always been like looking at girls who do crazy stuff, like kind of disgusted by that behavior. And I was always more right wing, like politically, and all of this kind of stuff, which it doesn't align with the typical liberal lefty sort of view. And so even though I was around those types of people, I was always kind of disgusted. I would always end up in arguments about silly little things, and I don't think they understood my point of view. But anyway,
they weren't silly. You were on the right side. What they were saying was crazy. Trust me, I hear you.
Yeah, exactly. And brother, I'll be even more honest right now. There was a long period of time where I thought, the T part of LGTV was completely okay, and I supported it. There was I was totally okay with the G part of marriage, like that sort of stuff. I was okay with all of this. If anything, I supported it.
So long as it didn't affect you.
I was honestly, I remember thinking, oh, if I have a G son, not a gangster son, by the way, like the other G, if I have that kind of son, I know what you mean. Yeah, I think everyone does. If I have a rainbow son, I used to think like, oh no, a fairy, I was about to say a fairy.
That's what I say.
yeah. If I have one of those, I used to think like, oh no, it's totally okay. And if anything, in my head, I was thinking like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of different. I genuinely used to think that. Yeah, that's stuff for Allah. But I was
no. I appreciate you being honest, bro. For real. Yeah.
But now, obviously, like that would be terrible. Like I would not want that
Yeah, I think about that, and it's like, I would probably drive up to the woods in Maine or something and just open the door and say, open the door and let them out and say, "You're free, buddy. Go on, be free, be free."
All right. You know what? I wouldn't do that, but
I'm only joking, I really don't mean that. So.
Yo, wow, bro. Nah. He's just joking. He's obviously joking. But,
yeah, you guys know I'm joking. I'm only kidding. But
no, but it's yeah. Anyway, I was in that kind of lifestyle where all of that was okay, and so I was with a modern feminist, and the relationship we would always, it was based on one thing, and I'm not going to say what it was, but you can kind of guess, right?
I got you.
And so everything else we would clash heads on. She would have a real big issue in me taking the lead. She would enjoy it when it benefited her, i.e. every time we went out, I would pay for everything. The rent for the house. If any of you know how much a 2-bedroom flat costs in London, in a nice area in London,
it's similar to what it is in Boston, I bet. Because London, New York, Boston, and California, I think, are the highest.
Actually, I'll just say the rent at the time was roughly it was £2,000 plus bills a month. I don't know what that's in dollars, but
yeah, in Boston, if you were to get a decent, like you're not gonna find even a decent 2-bedroom apartment in Boston, even in like a regular area in the city, that is under $3,500, $3,500.
Oh, okay.
Which is close to the same as what you're saying. I
think that's a lot more, but it wasn't in the center of London. In central London, yeah, that would be more like the price. But so I think it was like it was roughly like 2,500 plus bills. So that's like 3,000 essentially.
Yeah.
And I was paying the majority of that. And so she was totally okay with that. And so we agreed that, she would do cooking, cleaning, majority of it. I would help out. And so we agreed that after we signed the lease for it, she goes back on her word and says, "Oh, actually, I've had a thought about things. I'm also working. Can we split everything 50-50?" And she wasn't talking about the rent. She was only talking about the housework. So I'm in a situation where legally, I have to pay the majority of everything plus bills.
Yep.
And now she's saying that I have to also do 50% of the housework and cooking and all of this. So it's that kind of it's a lack of morals, honestly, and it's a lack of respect. It's a lack of traditional gender roles, and I think a household falls apart without traditional gender roles, and we've seen that time and time again. That's why the divorce rate in the Western world is so high, because people are adopting these weird you're such a strong woman, if you stay at home you're oppressed, and all of this kind of stuff. So like
we were saying earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So it was that kind of yeah. And so it was that kind of relationship where it was very, very toxic. I have to be honest, I didn't act the nicest way, but look, if you're in those relationships, neither of you are going to act in the best way, because you're constantly under pressure, you're constantly stressed out. You don't like the person you're living with, but you've been convinced into thinking that this is normal. It's that kind of situation. So after that, I told myself that I never wanted to be with a modern feminist again. I remember one time she caught me watching Andrew Tate, and she flipped out. She just went crazy.
What?
Yeah. She and by the way, she had never watched Andrew Tate before.
Oh no, yeah, most of them haven't, bro.
Yeah. And so, because it's weird, because if you hear Andrew Tate talking now, he only has positive things to say about women. Like only positive. So it's always these modern feminists who are just completely ignorant and arrogant and don't do their own research and just believe what anything the mainstream media says. Listen here, dum-dum, this is the truth, and this is this is wrong, and blah blah blah, whatever. You're going to listen, and they're just like nodding their heads like, yeah, okay.
Bro, you know what's sad too is that it's not even just women that I've noticed, bro. It's there are actually a lot. I don't want to say a lot, but there's there are men that believe in they're completely against Tate, and like I've talked to a few, and when I ask them why, they just all they blurt out is, I saw what he did on the news. Like, of course you saw what he did on the news, or you saw what they accused him of on the news. But go check that, do the research yourself, then come back to me and say that you think the same thing. And like Tate says, bro, like this is so true. He mentions like, I dare any of you, right, to have your life checked into and have like as much scrutiny that he has been under, have all the media, have the society go into your background, especially from this point to 10 years back or even further. Guarantee you they're gonna find something. 100%.
Yeah,
So,
I couldn't agree more, bro. And the thing is, I've never seen or met a guy who hates Andrew Tate who's actually respectable. A guy who works out, a guy who's in great shape, a guy who's earning good money, a guy who is successful with women, a guy who has his life in order and is respected by his peers. None of these guys hate Andrew Tate, because why would you? He's living a great life, although, obviously there are aspects which are still haram, but he's a revert. He needs time, just like all of us. And so all of for me, I don't really listen to people who I just don't respect, because as Andrew Tate says, and he said this plenty of times, why would I adopt the mindset of somebody whose life I don't want to live? Like, it just doesn't make sense to do that. So yeah, those Andrew Tate haters, I've never met anyone who I've truly respected who dislikes him.
Nah, absolutely, bro. He especially like you just said, you talk about Andrew Tate, and you talk about especially the thing, like the one thing that is always brought up, is that M word, and I let it fly earlier, but I didn't even realize that may be a word I can't say, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's spoken about and it's thrown around, especially when it comes to him. And especially any time that you have a strong-minded man, a traditional man, a man that, is all about, protecting his masculinity and saying, being in the gym, being physically healthy, being physically fit, being mentally sharp, mentally strong. And now this is called toxic masculinity. It's like what? Like, bro, everything's ass backwards. Astaghfirullah. And a lot of it comes from, or it all comes from, what you hear on the news and what they preach, the propaganda of programming you and brainwashing us to be weak-minded so that they can control everybody. That's all it's about.
100%. And also, to anybody who thinks is Andrew Tate is the reason why I reverted to Islam, is what Andrew Tate says is not new to me. For anybody who's grown up in a traditional household, who has a traditional father, you will know all of the things. Like the first time that I showed Andrew Tate and I put him on the TV and my dad was there, he was just sitting there nodding his head like, yeah, I don't see what's wrong. He sat through a whole hour and a half hour interview with Piers Morgan and was just like, yeah, I agree with everything he said. And this is just this was the normal point of view of everyone about 15 years ago. And now it's totally flipped on its head and it's crazy, but yeah.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah. I don't understand how, like, when I look back and I think about my grandparents, right? Both of my grandparents' side, they come from traditional lives, traditional lifestyles, traditional relationships. When I look at both of my grandparents, right? My grandfather, on both of my grandfathers, they were the provider, they were the protector, they were the breadwinner, and then when they came home, my grandmother would have food ready for them. She would have all the clothes taken care of. She would have the house clean, have all the kids ready, right? But nowadays, this is looked at as oppression and terrible, but you look back then and you see how happy the family, what's the word I'm looking for here? The family equation, or the family was in general, right? Very rarely did you see divorces back then. They happened, but they were very rare. It was a low percentage. Today, It's the opposite. Very rarely do you see marriages work. I think it's like 20-something%, right? It's like 27 or 26% of marriages.
I think it's a little bit higher, but yeah, it's
in the Western world, I should say.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit higher, but it's more like 40%. But even that is extremely low.
What is this saying? What the heck you want,
Oh, I've just sent you a message. Am I allowed to say that word?
Well, I missed it. I didn't even see what you said. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I've said it before. I don't see what the issue is.
I just want to make sure. Who the hell is this, man?
Yeah, no,
get this retard out of here. It's idiot, bruv. What you just said about? Andrew Tate is a pimp. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, bro, he's clearly not. Like, this is the type of stuff that I'm saying.
People, yeah, this guy's retarded.
People fall into, and they don't realize, like, so I was at my father's house the other day, and my dad and his girlfriend, they watch a lot of like MSNBC. Yeah. My father has always declared that he's independent, but he used to say he would lean conservatively. And now as he's gotten older, he's starting to lean liberally, even though he still declares he's independent. His girlfriend's liberal, right? And I'm listening to something that was on the news the other day, and it was talking about, all the deep fakes with AI, how they can so easily, right? And they showed one that was of President Biden, right? It was President Biden's voice saying some crazy, outlandish things. Mini chat mods. Yeah, I've been talking about this. I've asked a couple people wanted to be chat moderators, and then they said they'd do it. And then when the time came, things just went aside. But if any of you want to be chat mods, I'll make you a chat mod right now. Just raise your hand up.
The thing is about these trolls, they're just cowards, bro, because they would never say anything to your face. They're just people who hide behind the screen. They're just like disgusting people. So you can get your retarded ass out of here, bro.
Tate never once said he's a pimp. What are you talking? You're saying Andrew himself said he was a bro.
Yeah, this guy's retarded. Get out of here, bro.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're saying, bro. Hold on a sec. You really don't have no idea what you're saying, my guy. Like,
and you would never say it to anyone's face. So just if you're not gonna say, if you would not say it to someone's face, don't ever say it at all online or anything.
Exactly.
Because you know what would happen, bro. Don't even.
You know what's crazy, bro, is that a lot of people bring up, like, they'll throw that term out, or they'll say all this stuff about him. And the reason why they say this stuff is because of his old webcam business.
Yeah.
And they act like this is going on today. Like, he did this years ago, bro. Right? Do even anyone know what he said is the name?
Yo, let's stop engaging with this
University,
idiot,
bro. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, hold on a sec.
Yo, just block him from the chat. This guy's come on, man.
Hold on a sec. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, the thing is that I genuinely never interact with these types of people. I get them comment on my videos, but like I let them do it because it gains more traction on my videos. Absolutely. So I don't mind. But on live streams, it's kind of like they're just gonna keep going, and what's the point,
Nah, bro. Honestly, I normally, when it comes to this stuff, like you said, on regular videos, I don't answer them. First off, I very rarely get, haters or, as people say, like the haram police, like at that other stream. I never get that from fellow Muslims. I never get hate.
I never get it either.
It is people of the book, or atheists or trolls just trying to mess around like this, right? I get them a few times, and when it comes to that, like I said, I very rarely, like same thing you said, I very rarely answer them. If I do, I literally, only thing I say is what one of my mentors told me to say, because they said this is, they are shaitan trying to tempt us, trying to pull the evil and negative out of us, right?
Yeah.
So he said the best thing you can do if you are going to answer is just say, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you and bless you. Ameen. And that is it.
Hey, right? You're a better Muslim than me then, because, hey, say that to my face and we'll see what happens. That's all I'm going to say, bro.
See, bro, I feel the same way. And, but I know for a fact, like, even if I were to say that, I know for the fact that these are the type of guys that would never say that to your face. And me saying that is just, I'm wasting energy on these people who would never do anything come in front of confrontation. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel. But
look, I'm a nice guy, man. Anybody who's met me knows I'm a nice guy. But you know,
absolutely,
you can only push someone a certain amount.
Of course, bro. Yeah, brother Yahya is one of the most genuine and 100. Like, bro, you're 100. You keep it. You've been real with me since I met you, and I don't know. For somebody, you're the same way. I feel like you see it the same way I do, right? As long as you're giving someone respects me the same way I respect them, right? If they respect me, I respect them. As soon as you disrespect me, then that line's crossed, and you know. But
he's back in the chat, but let's just ignore it and just carry on the conversation. He's just gonna keep talking.
1 second.
It's just I find it so strange because I'm so out of touch with this sort of internet stuff, because if you talk like that where I'm from, you just get banged in the face, bro. That's it. There's no talking. There's no
worse,
talking.
Bro. Or worse.
Yeah, or worse.
You and I grew up in the city, so that's, trust me, bro.
And look, I'm not.
You got me saying bruv now. You got me saying bruv.
No. I'm not claiming to be bad. I'm not about that at all. But what I'm saying is that you say this stuff in real life, and someone bigger and scarier than you is gonna say something or do something. So
absolutely, bro. Oh man, it drives me crazy, bro, to even think about it. Honestly.
Yeah. No, look, brother, I'm not even phased. It's just funny because I never get this. That's why I'm sort of like a little bit in shock. I'm a bit like, I've never interacted with this. It's all new to me.
Yeah, so. Absolutely, bro. You know, honestly, when it comes to, this dude that's a whole nother account. He made a whole other account for that. Literally,
these types of people, man.
You made two accounts. Now I had to, you know. Bro, you can say whatever you want. I just get rid of you that easy. It don't bother me. So you're gone.
These online atheists and Christians are so insecure in their own ideologies and beliefs that they need to just constantly go around to, like, especially they only ever challenge reverts.
You notice
Isn't that strange? Like, it's so strange.
You never see them attack like a scholar or someone with like.
Yeah.
We don't have. We have some knowledge, but we're just students of knowledge. We're very in the beginning terms of this, right?
Yeah.
So,
but it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of me challenging someone to a fight when they're 5 inches shorter than me and extremely skinny, and they've never had a fight in their life.
I was just gonna say that.
It's like it's not. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you know.
Oh man! All right, so I want you to. Did you? I'm trying to remember where we were at. You were talking about the relationship you were in with the feminists, and you basically finished it, I believe, right?
Yeah, it just ended. It didn't work out. So, and also part of that relationship was just constant. You're so toxic. This is abuse. And by the way, abuse in the eyes of a feminist can be anything. It can be, and I gave this example before, but it was literally like, it wasn't even in the winter. It was maybe like March or April. Oh, no. I think it must have been even later. It might have been May, June. And it was slightly chilly in the UK, right? But the cost of like gas and all of that had went up. And so my ex at the time, she said, "Oh, is it right if we put the heating on?" And I said, "No, it's so expensive. Why can't you just wear a jumper?" And she goes, "No, that's financial abuse." It will be stuff like this where it's like, it's obviously not abuse. It's literally just having boundaries and saying, I'm paying for this, so why should I, why don't you just put on a jumper? It'll be stuff like that. So in the eyes of...
Okay. I hear you. Go ahead. I'm listening.
In the eyes of a feminist, anything is abuse. Like, and it was that kind of relationship where it's just pointing fingers. Oh, you're doing this wrong, but then never wanting to leave. She would say it was... this is abusive, but then she has an option to go live with her family, but she'll be like, I want my own space. If it was abusive, surely, like, you would go home. Exactly. Why are you still here?
If it was that bad, why are you still here?
Yeah, and so
women throw that term around, especially those kind of women. They throw that term around like crazy, bro.
Exactly. And the thing is that what they don't understand is that the more they throw that term around, the less meaning it has.
Absolutely.
because everybody knows that, like, if I was so nasty and, like, I was saying rude things or whatever, you would just leave. You would literally just leave.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't see why you would stay if you're being
Exactly.
if you're being treated so poorly.
Yeah, and she had plenty of places to go, so it's just crazy. But yeah, so that didn't work out. But anyway, shortly after that, I embraced Islam after learning about it for about 2.5 years. So alhamdulillah, I took my shahada
Alhamdulillah.
start of this year.
Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, brother. Yeah, so now that we're there, this is some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. Let me see. When you finally did make the decision to revert, that night, that day, whenever it was, like that last week leading up to that, what was the final push or the final inspirations, I guess, that really made you say, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to become Muslim?
Yeah, so it was actually so I took I actually started praying before I took my shahada. I was just I wanted to kind of learn about it and get the feeling of it. It might sound a little bit strange, but
no. I've heard this from other reverts as well.
Yeah, and so it was on like Christmas Eve of obviously end of last year,
MashaAllah.
and I was sitting in my room and I was just like, everybody's sort of celebrating, it's Christmas, this and that, and I was just like, this is all just so pointless. Like, I don't understand what even is Christmas, like, all of this sort of stuff. And so I just got the prayer mat out, which had been sitting there for a few months, and I put on a YouTube video on how to pray and all of that. And I prayed, and obviously I didn't do it properly. I wasn't saying the Arabic or all of that.
It takes time.
Yeah, exactly. But even that in itself, it felt purposeful. Like, it felt like there was meaning behind it. Whereas,
felt right.
Exactly, it felt right. You described it perfectly. It just felt right. And so from then onwards, I was very much serious about it, and I had mentioned it to my closest friends, and they were shocked. I'm not gonna lie, they were so shocked because they knew what I was up to, like, before that. And so at that point,
you're talking about your past life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And after that, the only thing that was holding me back, which took like weeks and weeks to overcome it, was having to accept the fact that my family are not Muslim.
I like that. What a way to start the new year. Yeah. I had to put that up there. MashaAllah. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. It was having to accept that my family who are not Muslim, unless they revert at some point, which, you never know, Allahu Alam,
Mm-hmm.
What'd
you just say?
Allahu Alam.
I never heard this.
Allah knows best.
Oh, mashallah. I like that.
Yeah. So
can someone type that in the transliteration in the text? I want to know how to spell that. I like that. Allahu Alam.
It's basically this.
Allah knows best.
Yeah, so that I say that, if you know me personally, I say that all the time because it's the only thing you can say when things aren't going right or seemingly are not going right. So that's all you can say. And yeah, anyway, after many emotional chats with my friends about my family potentially not making it to Jannah with me, I was just like, okay, is me not becoming a Muslim going to change that? If Islam is the truth and I know it's the truth, how is that going to, like, the only way that they're going to make it to Jannah really is if I guide them.
Absolutely.
And
if they see how well or how much better of a person you've became from after reverting to Islam, right? MashaAllah.
Yeah, exactly that. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I need to do a better job. I'm just so busy, like, all the time. Sometimes it's difficult to try and relay the messages that I'm learning, and
of course.
So yeah, it's tough, and sometimes I feel a sense of guilt because I'm not putting in enough effort into that specifically. But Allah guides who He wills, and it's not up to me if they revert. It's up to Allah. So I can just try my best and hope for the best. And as I say, Allahu Akbar.
I just want to add to that, bro, just for you, right? you know, because this is something that we all as reverts we struggle with. You know, we don't. Of course, we love our family. We want to see them all in Jannah too. We don't want to see them go to hell or anything like this, right? So, the way that, you know, my sheikh, both of my mentors explained this to me. Both of the sheikhs, they said that, right? You think about it when you reverted, right? Did anybody, and especially when you came to the realization, you know, that Islam was the truth, when you started researching it, all this, right? Did anyone force this upon you? Did anyone push you into it? You heard?
Sorry, bro. I just had to shut my window.
No, you're good. You're good. So did anybody, when you started researching or when you finally made the reversion to Islam, did anybody push you into researching? Did anybody force you into that direction? No, right?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, the only thing was just to ask more questions. That was it.
Yeah, of course. But it all started because you wanted to know. You went and you asked questions, right? Nobody was like, you need to do this. No, you went and you asked questions because you wanted to find out the truth. And the way that, you know, I've been taught, the way that I've listened to so many scholars preach it, is that's what it comes down to is, and that's what I found one of the most beautiful things about Islam is, like, I can remember in Christianity, and I still to this day talking to some family members and some friends who, when they speak about it, right, it's like forcing it at you, like literally they want to force it down your throat. And if you do not believe in Christianity, you're evil, you're this, you're that, right? Astaghfirullah. So that used to really irritate me. And it was like what you said earlier on, how priests and everybody used to say to you, you know, oh, if you missed church or you did this or you did that, you're going to hell, right? And it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. All this judgment, when at the end of the day, we are just the creation. We are human beings. We are the creation. Only the creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has the power to judge, right? He's the only one capable. We are not in a position to do so. So with that being said, I was like, okay, like that was, so the fact that Islam, it was so beautiful that it's not forced on anybody, that we came to this on our own, right? To ask questions or whatever, right? And with that being said, like as the Sheikh said to me, as both of them said, and all the scholars I listened to, they said, when it comes to your family, when it comes to your parents and everyone, right? If they ask you questions, of course, guide them, give them the information that they want to know, but do not force too much. Let them know, 100%. You know, give them what they want to know, give them the answers that they're asking for, as long as you can. If you don't know the answers, let them know that, and then guide them to somebody who can do that, right? Yeah. So, of course, bro, with me, like with both my mother and father, my brother, my sister, and all my family, for that matter, they're all Catholic. My brother is the only one that's not Catholic. He's Buddhist, my little brother. So he's you know, he's dealing with his own stuff. I hope, inshaAllah, that he becomes Muslim as well as the rest of my family. And please, everybody, make dua for my family as well as Brother Yahya's, inshaAllah. So I like what Brother Muhammad just said. And this is key, right? Just baby steps. You know, don't beat ourselves up. It's just little by little. And like you said, bro, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide them, right? It's all up to Allah if he wants to guide them or not. So go ahead.
The one bit of advice that I would give, if you're trying to help a new Muslim or someone who's potentially looking at reverting, do not overload them with information. I think this was one of the most frustrating things when I was, even after reverting. I remember I had some friends who they were trying to be helpful, but if anything, it made me feel like I was questioning my decision. I was like, this is too much. Like, I felt like
they were forcing it.
Some people would give you advice which wasn't purely Islamic. It was almost cultural. And I was like, why are you telling me this? I don't want to be from your culture. Like, no offense, but I'm not from your culture. I don't actually even care about your culture, to be honest. I care about Islam. That's all that I care about.
I'm here for the deen.
Exactly that. And so, yeah, I would say it's good to try to be helpful. Give them pure basics. And as soon as they understand that, they will have questions and they will ask you. Don't go out of your way to every single day supply them with information, because there's bruv, most people are not that intelligent, and even the intelligent people can't keep taking in new information every second of the day. So
well said.
There's a comment here. Am I able to talk about it more, about overloading them with information? I mean, yeah, I pretty much did, but yeah, just literally just highlighting that point of if you think about learning anything, just think about learning anything, right? If someone slowly guides you step by step throughout the whole process, that is going to be a lot more effective than someone just chucking a big book at you and saying, learn. Like, you know, it's the equivalent of doing that. So provide them with the basic information that they need. So obviously the 5 pillars, how they can incorporate that into their life. And then obviously what's haram, what's not, those kinds of things. And then from there onwards, they will have questions, and then you can answer those questions. So
absolutely, bro. I like this comment, so I wanted to say that, you know, after shahada, the most important thing to focus on is prayer, is salah, and then baby steps, inshaAllah. That's absolutely right. This is what I was taught. You know, the you know, focus on prayer. Once you get that done, then read the Quran, and you just, like you said, you take it slow. Someone like me, the issue that I have is when I get into something, I get so excited. And bro,
yeah.
Sheikh, like my first week, by 2 weeks in after I reverted, I had memorized six or seven surahs. I was like already had the full prayer down, everything right, and then I was literally at the point that I was studying Arabic on Duolingo and Babbel. And I asked my sheikh, like I pulled something up from, you know, the Arabic, and I asked him. He was like, whoa. He's like, Mikā'īl, you need to step back, brother. He's like, you're trying to do way too much. Just do one thing at a time, because he said, you know, he's seen people do it before where they get so excited and they start to overload themselves with it.
They get burned out, yeah.
They burn themselves out. So he was like, take it one at a time and you'll be good. So
yeah, I remember the first time that I started praying, I prayed all 5 and this was before I became Muslim, by the way. I prayed all 5 prayers every single day for a week, and by the end of it, I was like reconsidering whether I wanted to be Muslim, because I was burnt out. I was like, I can't do this every single day.
It's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
For us as people who never did it before, like I know. I remember, like, I don't want to say it was early on. I'd say probably like a few months in. It was actually, you know when it was? It was during Ramadan. It was towards the end of Ramadan, the last week of Ramadan. And I'm doing everything right on point. I had actually gotten sick for a few days. I had to go to the hospital from dehydration, right? After day 7. So I wasn't drinking enough water in those hours that you're supposed to, you know, rehydrate your body and replenish and everything. And I wasn't, like, I would drink maybe 1 or 2 water bottles, which is nowhere near enough. You need to have at least like 10, they said, right? Yeah. Which is what I drink normally, but whatever. So, you know, by day 21, or like, I don't know, maybe day 23, I started feeling like that, right? I started feeling like I was overwhelming myself. And I talked to the sheikh about this, and he was just like, Mikā'īl, just breathe, take it like step by step, you know what you have to do. He was like, you know, so that's what I did, and it helped me, you know.
MashaAllah, bro. That's good.
So anyways, as we were just saying, right?
You can't even remember, bro.
I was just gonna say, I just had a brain fog.
I can't remember either, to be
I think my brain just went mush.
Yeah, I think I was talking about the part where I was coming to terms with, you know, my family maybe not making it into Jannah, and then
so I was gonna ask that anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess I came to terms with that, and I'll just highlight the point again of even though I didn't like the idea, obviously, of my family ending up elsewhere, but even though I didn't necessarily like that, it doesn't mean that everything else is not true. It doesn't mean that it's not true, right? So whether
MashaAllah.
I like it or not, it's gonna happen. Like, as in, what's gonna happen is gonna happen, whether I like it or not. So why I it sounds so weird to word it like this, but like the best that I can do is try my best to enter Jannah, and you know, as a result of that, hopefully help at least some of them. You
Be
know,
an
it's better
example.
than all of us ending up in hellfire.
Yeah, the Sheikh would tell me, be an example. So,
Exactly.
like you just said, you just focus on you and your iman and your deen, and from there, you know that.
What happened, bro? Am I still in the? Oh yeah, so I'm still on the live. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa
I
rahmatullahi wa
don't know what I
barakatuh. This
just
is my
did.
live now.
I don't know what I just did. Am I back? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're back. You're
All
back,
right,
bro.
man. I don't know what I did, bro. I tried to. There was like a fly that just came down, and
Yeah.
I like tried to swat it away from him. I don't even know what this one fly has been bothering me all day. But
No worries, man.
I tried to swat it, and when I swatted it off of the mouse pad, next thing I know, it's like off the stream. I was like, "Oh no, please don't tell me I just ended it." But
No, that's cool, man.
Thanks for taking over, bro. I like that. He was like, "Assalamu alaikum."
Yeah, it was my stream.
Yeah,
I'm the captain now, bro.
bro, it was right as I came in, and I'm like, "Wait, did I mess up? Am I at the beginning of the stream again?" So, you know, yeah, please continue with what you're saying, bro. Please go on.
Yeah. So it's coming to terms with that, and you know, obviously, it's better to at least try to help them into Jannah. So that's kind of the approach I was taking, and so you know, I took my shahada, and that was one of the most happiest times of my life.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, man. Because the thing is, as a revert, you feel a massive weight lifted off your shoulders once you take your shahada. It's a very surreal feeling. It's like
Absolutely.
a lot of born Muslims say you're now a baby. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's actually true. You do feel like you're a baby because you're learning from scratch almost about everything. And you have to put your ego aside because, like in my past life, maybe if someone who I didn't know or whatever tried to educate me on stuff, I might have just brushed it off and be like, oh, whatever, you know. But as a new Muslim, you have to respect, you know, a lot of people who you have to respect their opinions, and if they're trying to help you, let them help you, and all of this sort of stuff. So it's definitely changed me a bit as a person. As you can tell, like, I'm still human. Like, if someone's like getting rude or something, look, I'm still human at the end of the day. But like, trust me, I'm a better person than I used to be because, hey, used to be mad,
bro. Absolutely.
But yeah,
it shows too. You know. Man, what was I just gonna say? You said something I really liked it, and I was gonna feed off of it. Man, I'm blanking out right now. What the hell's going on, man?
Good, bro.
No, there was something on here that I was looking. I saw something that reminded me of something. So, man, you just mentioned something, and it really was like it started some. It brought me to a thought, and I can't remember what it was.
No, should I carry on or?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so yeah, I mean, look, ever since then, I'll talk about up until the point of me starting to post YouTube videos, because I think that's somewhat interesting, because I mean, it's the same for you, right? Because the time that we reverted was coming up to Ramadan, right? It was such an interesting time to revert because that started
like a month and a half before Ramadan, right?
Yeah, exactly, a month and a half. And so that is, I mean, Ramadan in itself, born Muslims struggle with it. So to throw a new revert into the mix, I think there's positives and negatives, because as a new revert, you have this certain energy about you. And even I see it now. I seen brand new reverts, and I'm like, I remember exactly what that felt like. I still feel it, but maybe not as intense as I once did, right?
Absolutely.
And so putting that person into Ramadan, it could potentially even make it easier for them because they're so strong in their iman in that moment. So it could make it easier. That's kind of how I felt. Anyway, throughout Ramadan, I told myself that because I was making self-improvement videos, very, very short, just little bits of advice, gaining absolutely no traction. I had maybe like 80 subs, and a massive thing happened in my life. So, and by the way, I only posted like 5 videos. It wasn't like I wasn't doing it for long. I was doing it for maybe like a month or 2. And so a massive thing happened in my life. So I just wanted to make a video about it. And at that point, I hadn't seen any revert stories or anything like that. I just thought, okay, this is interesting. Let me just post it. And for the first week, it got 200 views. And I was like, okay, this is like average for one of my videos at the time. I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I stopped making videos because it was Ramadan. So I was like, I want to focus. And then I just randomly checked my YouTube account, maybe a week into Ramadan or maybe a week and a half into Ramadan. And I looked at my subs and I was like, wait, I must be seeing things because it jumped about 200 subs. It like tripled. And so I was like, what is going on? I looked at my videos and I saw it had like 2,500 views. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And over the following maybe 2 weeks, it grew and grew and grew. I think it's on like 30 something thousand. So nothing like crazy, but it's, you know, it's decent. And so I thought to myself, like, obviously, it's kind of a bit of a touchy subject, you know. I don't want to be in a position where I'm using Islam as a like, I don't want to monetize it purely, you know. It's just a bit of a touchy subject. So
no, I understand. I get it, man.
But then I reasoned it and I spoke to my friends who were very practicing, and they said, look, if you're in a position like this, there is a reason for it. So why don't you just continue making videos and try to help people who were in a similar position to you? And so that's what I did. And surprisingly, most of the people who watch my videos are born Muslims, surprisingly. And what actually ended up happening was that I used to get, and I still do, I get a lot of messages saying, as a born Muslim, that flame, you know, that flame, that massive flame that you have inside of you when you first revert, that it died, or it's very, very small. And seeing revert videos like myself and like yours and like other ones, it relights that flame, and it shows them that I was born into Islam and I'm not even practicing. I'm taking it for granted. Yet this person has gone through all of these trials and tribulations and found Islam, and he's more practicing than me. Like, it's crazy. So I never expected that. And so even that has spurred me on to make more videos. And now it's interesting because I've merged the 2 types of videos that I used to make. So self-improvement and Islam. And now I'm doing basically both of them.
I like him, bro. Yeah. I like your angle that you've taken, your approach to giving dawah. I feel like it's a lane that not many people have taken, right? The way that you, like you said, you merge the 2, and the only one that I could think would be any similar to you would be like someone like Marty Tijani, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But his is more red pill. I know you're not really on the red pill thing.
I used to be, but I'm not now.
I know I've watched some of your stuff where I heard it, but I really like what you were saying about that, man. Like reverting, and when you first decided to make the YouTube, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know if you've heard me talk about mine, but I didn't make a YouTube channel until after a month after I reverted.
Exactly. Yeah.
And one of my mentors, one of the sheikhs, after I finally, he knew my background when I reverted, but he didn't know in depth everything. And I told him that, probably a week before this time, so probably 3 weeks after I reverted. And then that last, a full month after I reverted, he pulled me aside and he said, I think you should make a YouTube channel that your story will help inspire others, non-Muslims and Muslims alike. And just like you, right? Your story will help inspire others as well. So Inshallah, bro. It's we are blessed that we have this. We have this this platform to be able to share this because of this. Like you said, I've had so many Muslims that have reached out to me, and I can't thank you guys enough. Jazakallahu khairan for telling me that I've inspired you to get back into your deen, to start praying again, to start reading the Quran again. I'm sure you get the messages too, bro. Yeah. And for people like us who reverted only 6 months ago, to hear that from somebody who's been Muslim their whole life, like, I'm not sure how it makes you feel. I don't want to speak for you, but I'll speak for myself. It is such an amazing feeling, and I really it makes my day when I read some of these comments. Like, I read every one of your guys' comments. It's amazing. Why don't you make videos in Italian if you speak the language? I just want to answer that question real quick. Yeah. Brother Ahmad, I don't really speak Italiano. I speak very little bit, right? I used to speak it more as a child, but as I've grown older, I'm not around my nonna and my family as much. So I understand it, but I can only say a little bit. So that's why I don't speak Italian. Plus, English really is the worldwide language. Most people around the world understand English. So the last thing I wanted to share was I remembered what I was going to say, right? So it was when you spoke about that feeling when you finally said the Shahada, when you finally recited the Shahada and you reverted, right? It was this surreal feeling is how you described it. So similar, bro, right? Like I mentioned that first time I stepped foot in the masjid, I felt the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? It was like I felt chills from head to toe throughout my body. Like, the feeling cannot be explained. Like, it doesn't even do it justice, me trying to explain it in words, right? I can't, bro. So then when I recited the Shahada, that feeling that I felt when I entered the masjid, it was that times like a fit infinity, right? So I talk about this a lot, and I just want to I'll make it as quick as possible because I want to hear the rest of your story. I talk about how throughout my entire life, and I'm sure you can understand this because most of the time people who fell into hedonism or hedonistic pleasures, they were searching for something, right? So throughout my whole life, and it all started from, really, I'm going to say around the time of my parents' divorce when I was about 5 years old. And at this time in my life, when that happened, as most kids do when the divorce happens, most young kids, they blame it on themselves, right? They say, like, I remember that night when my dad said he had to go, I grabbed him by the leg and wouldn't let him leave. And I said, Dad, please, I'll behave. I'll do everything you guys want me to. I won't be a bad kid anymore. Like, so I'm screaming, like, right? Yeah. And I only remembered a little bit of that. My mother and father filled me in on the exact details. That's how I can explain it like that now. So from that point on, I was always looking for something and searching for something to fill like that void. Ever since the divorce happened, I felt like half of me was missing. Like, to make an analogy out of it, I was a puzzle and half of the puzzle was gone, right? Half of the puzzle was gone. So throughout my entire life, from that point on, up until the moment I reverted, I was searching for something. I was searching for that other half, right? Whether it was trying something new, like going to a different state or going to a different area, partying, going to clubs, trying different substances and stuff for the law, right? Being with a woman or numbers of women and thinking that this would solve it. Like, I'd become more of a man at this point and I'd be a stronger, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You're searching for this, right? And by the time I was probably, I want to say 24, 25, I had like given up on it. I said, I'm never going to find it. It might have even been 22, 23. I'd given up on it. I said, it's never gonna happen. I'm searching for a dream that's not there, right? So whatever, years go by, then the moment comes that I revert. And when I finally say the Shahada, as soon as I express the last word, right, bro, like no word of a lie, man, that feeling, that thing I had been searching for my whole entire life, as cliche as this sounds, and most people say it when they find like their soulmate, Islam completed me, bro. Islam was that half that I was looking for my entire life. And I finally felt full and complete for the first time in my life, bro. Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. You know, and it saved my life, bro. It truly did. So I wanted to mention that because that feeling that you talk about, like, bro, it truly is. Some people, and I saw somebody say it in the chat, some people say it's like a revert high. I don't even like saying that because that don't sound right to me. I truly believe like it's us finding the truth. Like we're literally 100%. Coming to the truth. We're coming home to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way that He wanted us to be, right? And alhamdulillah, bro.
Alhamdulillah, bro. I just want to actually address that question about the revert high.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you can do, because the novelty of anything always wears off, right? It's only temporary. So the novelty feeling of being a Muslim, you know, the first month or two or however long, it wears off. Everything new becomes old at some point. So, I mean, I don't want to say it becomes old, but you get used to it, right? It's just human nature to get used to things.
Absolutely.
You know, we're highly adaptable. That's how we get used to things. But the thing that you need to do, and something which I found very, very challenging, and I've only recently overcome, is that if you rely, and this can be applied to anything in life, if you rely on feeling good to do something, then your intentions are misplaced. Then they're not correct. So I went to Istanbul, and I was there and I was praying, and I felt so amazing because all of these historical masjids and all of this sort of stuff.
Can you guys hear that sound in the background?
No, you're good.
Please tell me if you can. One of my roommates just went in the shower, so I hope you guys can't hear that. But
was that the naked guy in the back? No,
yeah, that's the naked dude that just went behind me. Yeah, the guy that had his shirt off with a towel on.
Yeah. No, but I was just saying. So I went to, you know, it was Ramadan. I felt amazing. You know, alhamdulillah, it was such a good month. And inshaAllah, I'll make it to the next one. And then I went to Istanbul, and it was amazing. And then I came home, and praying at home, like for the most part, it took its toll because I didn't have that same feeling that I used to get praying in the masjid and all of that. So that if you rely on that feeling of I'm doing this because it makes me feel good, then you're not doing it with the right intentions.
Absolutely.
If you pray when praying is hard, the reward for that is much more than praying when it feels good, because you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the sake of Allah. So that's what you have to keep in mind. So this revert high, it is a thing. I'm not gonna lie, it is a thing 100%. But the transition from that to, it's not about keeping this revert high. It's transitioning from revert high to just being a Muslim. Like, I don't even like to call myself a revert, to be honest. I'm just a Muslim, like,
yeah.
You know? So
no, I hear you on that. What was I gonna say? Teach Bro Mikey how to blur the background. I don't want to see naked guys. Yeah, brother Miswack, he's a joker, bro. Kid's got jokes. But yeah, bro, I really like what you said. I completely agree with that. You know, I don't know, that revert high thing. Like, yeah, I guess I can say I understand the term. I understand where it may come from. That there is this sort of surreal, like, I don't even want to say surreal feeling, but you know, there I guess there may be some kind of like a pink cloud that you go on, right?
Yeah,
like a pink cloud that you kind of experience in the beginning, but I don't know. Like I said, for me, that wasn't the way I saw it. I saw it as finally finding the truth and finally, you know, being the way that I should have been since the way I was born, right? Which is why we say revert. But on top of that, you know, I completely agree with you, Yahya, at the fact that yeah, this isn't something like if you're just in this because it made you feel good and you're looking for it to continue to feel good, no matter what you look for in life, you're never gonna find that, because that's not being human, right?
That's hedonism. That is literally hedonism.
That's pure hedonism. And even in hedonism, looking for that doesn't exist. It's not possible to be happy 100% of the time. It's not possible. It's not possible to be sad 100% of the time. We are human beings. We have different feelings: sad, happy, angry, whatever, right? We have different feelings. This is just the way we are, bro. We're not robots. So to understand that, and like you said, bro, if I wanted to be happy all the time, if you want to be happy all the time, you're in the wrong place, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to be happy all the time.
Facts.
So
I came here to be, to find the truth and to come home, and now I can say I'm happily a loyal and faithful servant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And being a Muslim, matter of fact, I wanted to say I love the fact that you said you don't like to call yourself a revert, right? You like to say, just because at the end of the day, that just separates us, right? We're Muslim, bro. I prefer new Muslim over Muslim revert. Honestly, I do.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, look, I'm not here to argue about like linguistics and all of that. It's more so the only time I call myself a revert really is when I have my tattoos out. That's the only time because it kind of saves you the embarrassment of, oh, maybe you're a born Muslim who got a bunch of tattoos, and it's kind of frowned upon. So I have to explain like, oh, I'm a revert. I didn't know about Islam when I got all of these tattoos, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
How you like that, bro? How you like me now? Wait, what just happened?
Oh wait, what have I cut off?
No, is my thing all laggy now?
You're like your audio is different to your visuals.
Yeah, hold on. I'm not about to do this. Let me change this back. I don't like.
Bro, is it right if you check the private chat?
Huh?
Is it right if you check the private chat?
Yeah. One sec.
Well, I'm just gonna say it now. Since it's all messed up anyway.
I'm changing it back.
Okay, cool.
I tried to put the blur on, and now it's fine again. I don't know. It doesn't work for me, bro. But hold on one sec. I'll look at the private chat. Yeah. That's fine. I'll keep. All right. So the last things that I didn't even realize, bro. It's been nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say first off, just again, Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you so much for coming here, brother. I appreciate it. So the last couple questions, and we'll make this fast. In your community and all around you and your family, everything, how was, what was the view on it when you finally reverted? Did your family accept it? Did your friends and society accept it? How is it viewed in London, and how is, your friends and family and your surrounding, how do they view it?
Yeah, the good thing about London is that look, if I lived in the countryside in a rural area, then it wouldn't have been accepted as easily. But because I'm from London, like, you see Muslims all the time, so it's not it's not a super alien thing. Now, was my family happy about it? No, like, they weren't happy. They were sort of questioning it and like, why are you doing this, blah blah blah. One of my brothers he still comments on my videos now. He's like, like, supportive and all of that. I see him saying Allahu Akbar and like Alhamdulillah and all of that, even though he's not Muslim. But I don't know, inshaAllah, one day he might.
InshaAllah. We'll make dua for him, akhi.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, look, right now they're all supportive, 100%. Like, even, actually, I'm not going to say that, but on one of my social media platforms, I have family who like my posts and all that. So, it's all good. And then in terms of friends, like, most of my friends are Muslim. So,
MashaAllah.
I mean, that is something else. That one bit
That's
of advice.
Huge, bro. That's huge.
Exactly. I was just about to say, obviously, I need to get going soon, but the one bit of advice I want to give to any Muslim, born Muslim, new revert, whatever you want to call it, is to be surrounded or have a network of practicing Muslim brothers or sisters. Obviously, if you're a brother, don't have a network of sisters, just have, brothers.
We got you, akhi.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. But Yeah, that is extremely important because, you know, as they say, you are the sum or the average of the people who you surround yourself with. And if you're surrounding yourself with non-practicing Muslims or non-Muslims, then you're going to find it difficult to be a practicing Muslim.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So I have one last quick question for you. I know you have to leave like right this second, or you got like a minute or two.
I need to pray, but
okay, yeah. Well, prayer comes first. Prayer comes first.
No. It's in. Yeah, have another minute or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
But prayer comes first. Salah is always first. So, my brothers and sisters, first thing I want to say, like I said before, is please, to those of my followers who don't already follow Brother Yahya, please go follow his channel Yahya Growth. It is in the description below the video. You can check it out. I have his Instagram down there as well. And for those that are new to my channel, please come and subscribe as well. I post every day and multiple live streams throughout the week. Also, I have a Quran project to those that do not have a Quran, do not have access to a Quran. You know, I pay for the shipping. I pay for the packaging. You can get your own. I have it in 4 different translations. I have the English. I have the Spanish. I have the Urdu and the original Arabic. So if you're interested and you would like one, please let me know. And also, if you would like to support the channel and, you know, also to help something like the Quran Fund, you can also donate to that. Down below in the description, you will see the GoFundMe for that. And if you want a Quran, I didn't even say, you can reach out to me down below in the description, my email, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And the last thing is the Hajj and Umrah project, which myself and a couple other brothers created to help and give Muslim reverts a chance to make Hajj or Umrah that couldn't afford it, you know, in the past. And that is also down below in the GoFundMe. You will see them all below. So to wrap things up, I have one last question from my brother here. You know, when it came, so, you know, we briefly spoke about this, but when it came to, you know, your influences, right? When it came to influencing you to Islam, and we spoke about Tate. Did Andrew Tate have any type of influence in you when you looked into Islam, or when you really reverted to Islam, to beginning to make that stride?
I'd say overall no, but like he is such an influential person that I would be lying if because I watch Andrew Tate. I support him. You know, he's a Muslim brother. How could you not support a fellow Muslim? As long as he's trying, which it clearly is. You know, he's not drinking all that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I would say largely no, but at the same time, maybe. I honestly, I have no idea. I can't say 100% no, but I'd say like 99% no. Because the thing is with me is that, as I mentioned, like I've been learning about Islam for like 2.5 years, maybe.
Exactly. So you're
not intensively, just
but you've been researching.
Well, for most of, I'd say about 6. I was researching for about 3 to 6 months, but I was learning about it because I was as I mentioned, most of my friends are Muslim. Like even before I was Muslim, I gravitated towards Muslims. And so I knew a lot about Islam before I reverted. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, you seem like you've been a revert for a lot longer. And I'm just like, well, if you surround yourself with people who know a lot about making money, you're going to make money. So it's that kind of thing, you know?
MashaAllah. Yeah, no, and I asked you not because I thought you were anything like that.
What are you trying to say, bro?
No. I just wanted to
I'm about playing, bro.
Because because a lot of people, bro, you know, and I'm sure you've been asked this before. A lot of people assume it about all of us, especially the new Muslim men who revert, right? So you, myself, Ibrahim, Tortoise King, right? Yeah, everybody, all of us that newly reverted, they all think that we just followed Andrew Tate here. Which
and the thing is that even if that was the case, and Andrew Tate is the person who introduced you to Islam, why is that a bad thing?
I was just gonna get to that. I was just gonna say it, bro.
Stole your thunder there.
What's that?
I stole your thunder.
No. I appreciate you adding in. it makes it, it adds the dynamic duo to this. So, like, bro, to be 100% honest, people always ask me when they see this Quran. This is the Quran that I had got. I ordered it like 5-6 days before I reverted, and it came in the day that I reverted, or the day of that I reverted. Yeah. And the first time that I showed it on my channel, people were like, "Oh, that's the same one that Andrew Tate has when he was, in jail that they showed." And although I had, like I said, same as you, I was researching Islam for 2 years before, and I was a follower of Tate. I watched Andrew Tate. Now, I must have missed the video when he said he reverted. I know he reverted, like, I found out later he reverted a few months before you and I did, like in October, November, I think.
Yeah.
So when I found that and people said this, I pulled up the link, or somebody put the link in. I pulled the link up and it showed the pictures of him with the Quran. And I was like, mashallah, I kind of got excited that something I did was similar to him and I didn't even notice, right? Because he is somebody, like, who am I going to lie? He is somebody that I look up to. Not in a idealistic way, like, astaghfirullah, not like that, but bro, for us men, he is a great, figure for us to aspire to be like, right? I mean, as far as, I don't know how I should say this.
No, I know what you're saying, but I guess you have to clarify that with
That's why I'm like,
yeah.
How should I say this? So really, like, as far as the fact
in
that
terms of success and masculinity, right? That's kind of what you're saying.
Exactly, bro. He preaches. I like the message that he preaches for us as men, that we need to be traditional. That to be physically strong, to be physically fit, mentally strong, that we should be, be intelligent, don't be a dumbass, astaghfirullah. But it's basically like, this is all the things that he's saying. It's all, I don't know. I see everything he preaches as positivity. I feel like it's just the media and people, feminism, I guess, twisting his words. So,
yeah, exactly.
All right. So
I had something to add, but
go ahead.
No, I literally can't remember at this point, bro.
All right, okay. So I just want to, end this and say again, brother, thank you for coming on. Jazakallahu khairan.
Bro.
So my brothers and sisters, I know you guys had questions to ask him, but brother has to pray. I have to go pray as well.
Yeah, we can run it back.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're going to have many more episodes. Maybe part 2, 3, 4. We'll see. And I will also be on his channel as well. Coming soon in the next week or two, inshaAllah. I was just gonna say, if you want to add anything before you go.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of you coming on to my channel, I have some ideas for it. I have a few guests lined up before, though, so it might be in maybe like 3 to 4 weeks or so, if that's cool. So
that's absolutely fine, inshallah.
Yeah. I'll see how it goes, because I might just throw in an extra live here or there. So
just let me know.
Yeah,
we'll stay in touch, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I guess from my side of things, if you want to find me on YouTube or Instagram, or I mean, if you are into TikTok, if you're that much of a loser, no, I'm joking. But is Yahya Growth, so it should be on the screen somewhere. But I talk about, short form. I react to videos, I react to sort of current events and related back to Islam. On YouTube, I talk a lot about self-improvement, how to become a better Muslim, but also how to avoid certain fitna and just a lot of issues that primarily men are facing, but also, sisters are facing too. So if you're into that and you like a bit of sort of blunt, dead comedy thrown in there, then sure, come and check it out. And, inshallah, we can both grow together. And yeah, inshallah.
Absolutely. You got to check out Brother Yahya's channel. Please go subscribe to him. All my subscribers that don't already follow him, please go follow him on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to his channel. As he said, he's got a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge, as well as he adds a humor to it, which is I always laugh when I watch his videos. It makes me laugh. He's entertaining with the way that he delivers it. Yeah, brother. Yeah, I really, as you said, during your live stream the other day, I really wanted to add this as well to all of you guys. He's one of the few people on here you know, on the YouTube community and on the Muslim YouTube community, that is very genuine. You know, he's not one of those people that, you know, as he grows, he will stop talking to you. You know, he's just a very honest, genuine guy. And it's far and few between, not only on social media, but in life in general. So, you know, to find a brother like this through YouTube, it's been a pleasure. And, you know, I really look forward to the time when I come to the UK and we can chill and go to the masjid, and you come here as well. So, inshaAllah, Hafi. Yeah, as I said, please go check him out. Subscribe to his channel, and I wish you all farewell. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Love you guys. Take care.
Is it ended?